If you encounter any technical issues related to this Georgia football broadcast, please call our trouble hotline at 336-831-0861. Mark 2 minutes until airtime for this Georgia football game broadcast. Your next time cue will come with 1 minute until airtime for today's Georgia football game broadcast. Stations, we are coming up on 1 minute until airtime. 1 minute in 5, 4, 3, 2. Mark 1 minute, stations. 1 minute until airtime for this Georgia football game broadcast. Studio producers, when you hear touchdown, please start your archive recording. Coming up on 30 seconds until airtime. Mark, 30 seconds. Your next and final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Touchdown! Studios, start your archive recording. Coming up on 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds, stations. Have fun.
The following is a presentation of the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Gentlemen, good afternoon. Dogs need that kind of toughness in every game in this league.
Your emotions are as sky high as they ever will be.
It's not just another game.
And he's a big play kind of guy.
A terrific day of football ahead.
This is the NAPA Tailgate Show.
And the fans are ready for it.
Take out your Richter scales because Georgia is going to run out of the tunnel.
On the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network. Welcome to the NAPA Auto Parts Tailgate Show. Quality parts, helpful people. That's NAPA know-how. The NAPA Auto Parts Tailgate Show is brought to you in part by Kroger, fresh for everyone. Georgia's own credit union, banking on purpose. Georgia Farm Bureau, always the home team. And by Georgia United Credit Union. Score your official Bulldogs debit card today at gucu.org/GoDogs. Now to the Scana Energy stage. Here's Neil Hondo Williamson.
Back in the saddle, back in Athens, and if rumors are true, our Georgia Bulldogs will be back in black tonight. Hello, Bulldog Nation, from the Scana stage on the Tate Plaza outside the UGA bookstore. Welcome to the NAPA Tailgate Show. The 2020 road has been long, it's been challenging, and come see, come saw. Not bad, just not great. But what lies ahead is wonderful. God willing, at least 5 more Georgia games this fall, beginning with tonight's SEC Showdown with Mississippi State. Joining me on this gorgeous Georgia afternoon are the voice of the Dogs, Scott Howard, legendary Playboy All-American quarterback Eric Zier, and Bulldogs historian and creator of this program, Lauren Smith. Gentlemen, our Warriors have not graced the turf at Dooley Field since October 10th. So long, in fact, that the last time we played in Athens, the second presidential debate hadn't been canceled yet. The Braves and the Dodgers hadn't played Game 1 of the NLCS yet, and heritage programs like Penn State LSU, Michigan, Tennessee, they were all still ranked in the top 25. So not only has it been a while since we've been home, but Scott Howard, we've played only 2 games in the last 34 days.
Yeah, it's kind of dragging along the last 6 weeks, 7 weeks, whatever it's been. And, since that October 10th game, since Georgia beat Tennessee here on this field, in this stadium, the Dogs are 1-2 in games since then, with one off week switched around to help other teams in the SEC, and then an unexpected off week due to a postponement. So it's really dragging out the time and dragging out the whole situation of college football. And driving into town today and here to the stadium, there's kind of that sensation right now, which I guess you would expect because of the situation, limited number of folks allowed in the seats, except for all the cardboard cutouts. I like seeing those here. But it's Georgia's going to have to create its own energy today. I mean, it's kind of a dead atmosphere. It's an easy, lazy drive into the stadium, and there's just not a whole lot of activity going on.
Yeah, it really has been a rough 34 days. The hopes that were so high last time we were here, they're freshly removed from an Auburn game that had so much excitement to it, where aspirations were just continuing to skyrocket. Those have obviously been dampened some, but probably no better elixir for the ills of the Georgia Bulldogs right now than to get back home in the friendly confines of Sanford Stadium. We are a beaten-up team that maybe some of this time off can get us back and get us healthy and rejuvenated for an end run. This team still has a lot at stake, a lot to play for. The young men on this team have a lot to play for as well. So a lot of football left. You want to play at a high level. No better time to start doing it than right now.
I think Georgia's the only team that only has 4 home games this year, and a lot of that has been a problem for years. Playing Florida and Jacksonville every year, most people want to play the game there. I'm not official voice by any means, but it has been tough for Georgia to get a good home schedule playing Florida and Jacksonville every year. Just no ifs and ands and buts about it. And then on top of that, no October games, the greatest month for college football. So I'm not so sure it's best for Georgia to continue playing in Jacksonville. So that's just an opinion, as I say, and it's certainly not official. But I think this team has suffered more injuries. I've been thinking about it, and I didn't really do a hard search. Go back all the way to 1965. Georgia upset Alabama in the opening game. The flea flicker game beat Michigan at Ann Arbor. And then a rash of injuries. We lost 2 of the great defensive backs ever to play here. Joe Burson, Doug McFalls, lost Bob Taylor pound for pound, probably the best running back we ever had, out for the season. All of those guys. And we lost John Glass, a linebacker. Lost Kirby Moore mid-season. Preston Riley-Huber didn't go out, but he was always hobbled, taped up. He looked like a mummy on the football field. So, but I was talking about that to somebody who really knows our personnel, and he said, yeah, but with a seasoned established quarterback, who knows, you might not, you certainly would have likely beaten Florida. And, that was unfortunate. We lose 2 players on one play, and with Stetson having an AC
Sprayed AC joint. Yep.
Yeah.
His accuracy, he just couldn't place the ball.
Oh, no.
If he had, that game might have been different.
Yeah, well, I was sitting next to Eric on those passes, and we kept looking at each other like, how do you miss that pass by that much? And we didn't realize at the time, then he popped off the field right after that, Z.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Listen, it's anytime that you injure any part of your body, it will disrupt mechanics. Mm-hmm. And as soon as those mechanics are disrupted and you lose your base and you lose a little bit of rhythm, everything can go haywire. I think that's what we saw with Stetson. Obviously, it wasn't the game that he wanted. He'd been struggling a little bit even prior to that. But you add the injury to his throwing shoulder on top of it, made it for a tough day for him and a tough day for the Bulldogs.
The recent loss to Florida put our Bulldogs in an unfamiliar position. When our team bursts forth from the Sanford Stadium tunnel tonight, it will mark the first time in 49 months that UGA will not control its SEC destiny during a regular season game.
It is overwhelming because, like, we all know that we want to reach the playoffs and be able to compete for a national championship. But at the same time, like, we still being able, with the opportunity, being blessed, that we can still go out and play football. So we have to look at it in a positive way.
There's receiver Kearis Jackson. Only a handful of players on the current roster have experienced this situation, this feeling of no control. What is that loss of control due to the mindset as far as preparation and motivation, Lauren?
Well, it's very frustrating, but I look at it by feeling a good updraft this week when Richard DeClowns, and they interviewed his mother and said he really wants to come back and play. So, you know, we've lost that wanting to play for the glory of old Georgia. Now you can play for the glory of old Georgia. Do something for the school. Give back. Don't be worried about rushing off to the pros and making it easy, taking the easy way out. Georgia gave you a commitment. How about having a commitment to Georgia? So there's plenty to play for. Kirby doesn't set the rules, but he's the best I've ever been around at taking the position that whatever the rules are, I'm going to play and abide by those rules. So he takes a positive stance rather than a negative stance. And I think there's no perfect way to raise children, and there's no perfect way to manage football players. But if you put in a positive formula, create a positive environment, I think you get a much better opportunity to have a decent situation with your players.
Yeah,
and maybe they play a little harder, play a little better when they do get on the field.
Yeah, no question about that, Lauren. You know, adversity is going to cause this team to go one of two ways, and it's the first time in an awful long time, 49 months, that we face the kind of adversity that we face right now. This football team is either going to crumble under that adversity and separate and start pointing fingers, or it's going to galvanize this football team and serve as a springboard, not only for the rest of this year, but into the years to come as well, especially in the immediate future. Looking into next year, that journey starts right now, and if we respond to this adversity in the right way, it'll make this team stronger.
All right, two rumors have flown for nearly a fortnight now. The first, Scott Howard, is that we'll see the return of black jerseys between the hedges tonight. The other is that we'll see JT Daniels under center to start the game. So, confirm, deny, or plead the fifth?
I'll go with the jersey rumor.
Okay.
You know, when the school released the 1980 championship jerseys, the ones that we wore against Arkansas, the good-looking white jerseys, there was also a reconfigured black jersey that came out for marketing purposes. Those jerseys were put on sale to the general public, and I'm pretty sure the idea was to wear the black jerseys at least one time during this season. Now, this is way back in maybe August or September when these discussions were going on, and this game was the one that was targeted, I was told, to wear the black jerseys. I haven't heard a lot of conversation since then about the black in Mississippi State, but if we are going to wear black, I'm pretty sure this would be the game to do it. As far as JT, I think I'm on board with everybody else on the radio crew. I hope he's the guy tonight that we get to see. He would be the third quarterback to play this season for the Bulldogs. And, you know, at this point, what have you got to lose? As long as he's healthy and cleared and ready to go, give the guy a shot.
Yeah. Well, let's hear from Coach Smart and senior lineman Ben Cleveland about the sophomore transfer from Southern Cal.
It was a very smooth transition. You know, JT has spent a lot of time working on himself. He's been running, 90% of the scout team offense. You know, he's really been focusing on learning the playbook, getting himself healthy, and preparing himself for this moment.
He's very bright. He understands things. He's very attentive in meetings, asks a lot of really smart questions, always into the X's and O's. He's very intrigued by the other team's defense. And every week they get tests, and each week of the season he takes the test and does it as good as anybody. Not knowing if he's getting snaps or not, he's done a tremendous job of understanding the team.
That is Coach Kirby Smart, and then Ben Cleveland preceding him. And I think everybody in the Bulldog Nation right now is excited about the opportunity to see JT Daniels come in and play. He was obviously injured coming off of a pretty difficult knee injury. Started as a freshman at USC, highly recruited coming out of one of the best high schools there in California. So he has had a tremendous amount of hype since he's got on campus. It was a shame that he had to go battle through that injury. Hopefully today he is ready to play. He's physically prepared. He's going to be mentally prepared. He has been sharp. Everything that you read about him is that he is a student of the game. And if there is a time right now that this football team needs a jolt, needs a shot in the arm, it is right now with JT Daniels being hopefully the catalyst to get this offense moving.
All right, it's Georgia versus Mississippi State, SEC action under the stars from the Classic City. Tell you, I was speaking to 3 of our majorettes earlier today, and they are excited. I mean, they were jacked up. I said, girls, is it harder with less people? No, we're fired up. We're ready for the dogs. And let me see, we had Lacey from LaGrange, Amelia from Calhoun, and Gracie from Elberton. They're ready to go. We hope that you are too. And we'll continue this round table discussion in just 2 minutes with Lauren, Eric, and Scott. Topics include returns from injuries and tonight's opponent featuring the air raid offensive coach Mike Leach. Quality parts, helpful people, that's NAPA Know-How. Tony Schiavone is the producer-engineer of our NAPA Tailgate Show. Chris Schiavone assists. Zach Jewell is our studio producer. And Young Jay Black engineering for us here on the Scana stage outside the bookstore. The boys are back in town. Georgia between the hedges for the first time since October 10th versus Mississippi State right here on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
NAPA Know-How. Get all the quality parts you need at your locally owned NAPA. Because right now, when you order from NAPA online, you can pick up curbside at your local store in just 30 minutes. Or get your order delivered direct to your door with free one-day shipping and over 160,000 quality parts when you spend $35 or more. Quality parts delivered quickly and safely. That's NAPA Know-How.
NAPA Know-How.
At participating stores, standard ground shipping and exclusions apply.
Hey, dog fans. Coach Kirby Smart here. Do you have a game plan for flu season? Get ahead of the competition by getting a flu shot at Piedmont. It's the smart thing to do. Stop by any Piedmont primary care, quick care, or urgent care location and stay healthy all season long. Visit piedmont.org/UGA to learn more and book online. Piedmont Healthcare, more ways to better.
This is the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
I started looking into what a divorce might look like, but the process is confusing. I have so many questions, and I feel so alone.
This is Lee Merriweather. While this is your first divorce, we've been through thousands. We'll guide you through the divorce chaos by giving you options and recommendations. We even offer a free phone consultation with one of our attorneys.
This is Bob Tharp. You have questions. Now there's one place to find the answers you need. Merriweather and Tharp, with offices throughout Atlanta, helping clients through difficult times.
1545 Peachtree Street, 678-879-9000. TheAtlantaDivorceTeam.com.
Getting back to business means giving customers the confidence to walk through your doors. At Surf Pro, we're doing just that with certified Surf Pro Clean. Our proactive cleaning program helps reduce the spread of viral pathogens, adheres to CDC standards, and uses proprietary EPA-approved disinfectants. Put the certified Surf Pro Clean Shield in your window and let customers know that you're committed to a higher standard of clean. For a free quote, call 1-800-SURF-PRO or visit surfpro.com. Franchising or independently owned and operated.
It's time to unleash the dogs.
In the pocket, nowhere to go. We got a sack him. We sack him for a big loss, and the ball goes over on downs.
Welcome back to the NAPA Auto Parts Tailgate Show.
Lauren, Scott, Zyer, and your old buddy Hondo on the radio with you, and we are pumped to be playing again, especially after last week's unexpected postponement. One benefit from the extra week off was some time for the players to heal.
Maybe some dinged up guys we're getting back in the next couple of days that might be able to help us from a second team or depth standpoint, but not a primary starter.
Scott Howard, what do the injury list and the recovery list look like for today's clash with the Ms. State?
Ooh, it's a long list.
I can hear you rattling.
Let me get my list out here. I believe the guys that we have back, I feel pretty good about these. George Pickens should be able to play today. It'd be good to see George back on the field. Lewis Seen, who was disqualified against Florida for that targeting, and then he went into concussion protocol after that. He is expected to be back tonight, which is good. And Kenny McIntosh may also return this evening, as certainly Georgia can use more offensive weapons, and Kenny is such. The guys that are definitely out, of course, Julian Rochester, Richard LeCount are still out. Marcus Rosemy out. Jordan Davis probably out. Kendall Milton most likely out. And, Warren Brinson was a guy we didn't have access to in Florida. He was not available for the Florida game a couple of weeks ago. That wasn't really publicized very much. Hopefully, I'm not sure what his injury is, but hopefully he can be available tonight to give us a little more depth on that defensive line.
All right, very good. The Maroon Bulldogs, our opponents tonight, skippered by Mike Leach, one of the creators of the air raid offense. A small byproduct from missing last week is the Coach Smart and his defensive staff were bonused extra time to study the Mississippi State attack.
You might say that, getting an extra day on Mississippi State might help a little bit in terms of prep, because, we would have been playing for Missouri up until Saturday.
In State's 2020 debut under Mike Leach, quarterback KJ Costello broke a 27-year-old SEC record held by our own Eric Zier, as Costello threw for 623 yards in what was then regarded as a titanic upset of LSU. Z, our staff of armchair psychobabblers would like to know, how did that make you feel when a 27-year-old record you had fell?
Any record that you ever have, it really is a representation of what the team did, and you have an awful lot of pride in that, because as a group of men at the time, what you're able to do, records are meant to be broken. You're happy for the guys that go out and go do that, so kudos to him. It was time for that one to go.
Yeah, I think of your great offensive linemen back then, and then guys like Hassan and Juan and Shannon, who were all catching all those balls.
Bryce Hunter, another
Bryce
one
Hunter, oh
as
gosh,
well.
Yeah. How did I forget Bryce, of course. Well, that still leaves the chore of defending the Mississippi State complex, a multi-pronged attack tonight.
If you watch them right now, nobody hardly rushes the passer. They rush 3. I think the last 4, 5, 6 teams they've played have rushed 3 80% of the snaps. So, that's what people are doing. That ain't necessarily what we're going to do.
That's Coach Kirby Smart, and this air raid offense from Mike Leach, it really is basketball on grass. And the amazing thing, as complicated as it is, many different looks. They've only got a base package of plays of about 18 to 25 plays. Now, a lot of different eye candy and how they get to those plays. But after LSU, where they went out and torched it and set SEC records and threw the football all over the field, that's exactly what teams have done. They've gone back. They've started to sit in zone, keep the football in front of them, and come up and make tackles. Now, this Mississippi State team, they can run with the football after they catch it as well, so you've got to be sure in tackling. I have no doubt that Georgia defensively today is going to come out, give a variety of looks, but expect to see an awful lot of zone against this air raid attack.
All right, since that dazzling debut versus Louisiana State, it appears subsequent opponents have found that elixir that Z just talked about to slow, if not stop, the Maroon Bulldogs. State's once gushing offense has slowed to a dribble, going 1-4 and totaling only 50 points in those 5 outings since toppling the Bayou Bengals.
Offensively, we as coaches have to find a way to generate toughness in our offensive players, because right now I don't think they're very tough, and pretty please and all that isn't quite getting it.
There's Mississippi State head coach Mike Leach. And Lauren, you know a lot of coaches from across the country. And how well at all do you know Coach Leach and his candor about his team's deficiencies that were not very tough, and pretty please isn't getting it done. And he's candor. He's got candor about just about anything. It's not what we're accustomed to with college coaches, is it?
Well, he is a little different. He came out of the Hal Mummy system, and so have a lot of other successful coaches now. They're all running, gun, and throw it. Although I remember when Hal Mummy was at Kentucky, Pat and I said, when he wins a big game, please call me.
Oh, yeah.
So not everybody buys into that chunk it all over the lot. But Mike really did. He really did gain an insight into the passing game somewhere along the way from Hal and others. And he loves the Pirates, so maybe he's telling it like it is. Because a pirate, speaking to another pirate, you don't think they wouldn't tell it like it is.
I don't know.
You don't think pirates say pretty please? Arg, pretty please.
Arg, pretty
matey.
please. Very good. All right, thank you, Lauren, Scott, and Eric. With Thanksgiving on the doorstep, I'll share with you that I am thankful that we are playing football. Drink it will flow and blood will spill and all that other great stuff for the SEC Bulldogs from Georgia versus the Mississippi State Bulldogs at 7:35 on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
I'm John Addison, a lifetime Bulldog fan, Georgia graduate, and the chairman of distribution for Primerica, the largest independent financial services marketing company in North America. Primerica is a Main Street company for Main Street families. We help people from all walks of life achieve their goals and dreams by offering common sense financial solutions to today's challenges. As a Georgia-based company, Primerica is proud to continue to sponsor Georgia football. Go Dogs!
The SEC taught us that it's easy to love winning, but that the best of the best know where to look for the win, even in losing. Because setbacks are an inevitable part of almost any endeavor, and the hardest lessons are the ones that teach us the most. As the official bank of the SEC, at Regions, we believe every day is a good day to dig deeper. What has the SEC taught you? Join the conversation with hashtag SEC Lessons. Regions Bank. Member FDIC.
This is your home of the Dogs. You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Dogs fans in Athens, we have two important rules. Support local business and cheer on the Georgia Bulldogs. This season, we'd like to thank our official hometown team partners for their support of Georgia Athletics, Georgia's Cotton Farmers, Gainesville Mechanical, Homewood Suites by Hilton Athens, and Longhorn Steakhouse in Athens. Learn more about how you can support these great local partners by finding the Hometown Team Partners ad in the digital game program on GeorgiaDogs.com. Support our hometown team partners, and you'll support the Dogs.
When you are the official sponsor of the comeback, adding a few feet to a drive matters.
First down!
So does shaving 1/10 of a second off a lap. Top-rated surgery, physical therapy, and motion analysis by the sports medicine team at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta helps teen athletes not only prevent injuries, but heal faster and return stronger, ready to win. Our more than 20 orthopedic and sports medicine locations are ready to assist your athlete's comeback. To learn more, visit choa.org/sportsmed.
It's game day, and the Dogs are ready to eat.
And it is caught! Touchdown! Money time!
Let's rejoin the NAPA Tailgate Show.
And now it's time for this week's Power Profile presented by Georgia Power. This week we recognize Chris Jansen, a teacher at Oconee County Middle School since 2003 and a recent recipient of the College Football Playoff Foundation's Extra Yard for Teachers Award for the state of Georgia. Chris, first of all, what do you teach?
I currently am a 6th grade math teacher. I teach I have 3 accelerated classes this year and 1 advanced level math class.
I see you're also involved at coaching at the school. Tell me a little bit about that.
I was assistant with the football only this year. I've done basketball in the past. I've done golf in the past. I actually was a high school wrestling coach in the past. I've done a few different sports, but I guess football was what I've done the most.
And what does it mean to you to receive this Extra Yard for Teachers Award from the College Football Playoff Foundation?
It's really quite an honor. When you, as a teacher, you always hope that you can have an impact on a student's life down the road, especially for somebody that's in middle school. I don't always get to see how they turn out and things like that as they get older. So when you have a former student that has nominated you for such an honor, kind of one of the best feelings probably a teacher could have when they know a former student has thought that much of you and has been successful.
Tell me how it feels to be honored with a video inside Sanford Stadium tonight.
It's crazy to me. Quite an honor. I try to stay away from the spotlight a little bit, but to think that, like I said, that I've been nominated by a former student. I'm a University of Georgia graduate myself, so it's something if everybody saw my room, it's all Georgia. Everything's Georgia, so I'm a big fan of Georgia, so to be honored here is quite amazing.
Well, Chris, thank you very much for taking the time to sit with us this evening.
All right, thank you very much.
In honor of his continued commitment to education, Georgia Power is proud to donate $500 to Mr. Jansen's classroom at Oconee County Middle School. Dog fans, do you know an individual or organization making a powerful impact in the community? If so, visit georgiadogs.com and click on Power Profiles to learn how you can submit their story. If selected, they may be recognized during an upcoming Georgia football game. Power Profiles are presented by Georgia Power. Power on, Georgia, and go Dogs. Hondo, we send it back over to you for more of the Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
Oh, who was that mystery man? That was the voice of Zach Jewell, our producer extraordinaire back at the Bulldogs studios. And Zach, taking a turn behind the mic today. Great job there, Zach. Good to hear you. Welcome back to our NAPA Tailgate Show. 13th ranked Georgia preparing to tackle Mississippi State. Eric Zier returns in less than 10 minutes with a look at the Dogs' offense. Right now, here's our Lauren Smith. Lauren?
And we welcome to our broadcast Mike Mobley, the Sports Information Director for men's basketball, also women's golf. Mike, basketball is underway. We'll be playing a game pretty soon. An update on the Tom Crean Bulldogs.
Well, Lauren, we are playing. It's Wednesday night. It'll be the season opener at Stegman Coliseum, so we're excited. It's we're a couple of weeks later than we traditionally are. But, basketball around Thanksgiving is a common theme, college basketball. So team's been working hard. A little bit longer preseason than usual because of the COVID situation, but I know the guys are excited to get out on the court and play somebody other than themselves.
Even though he's gone, good news about a Georgia player going first in the NBA draft. What do you know about that?
Well, very excited for Anthony Edwards, obviously, on Wednesday night. He's the first Georgia player ever to be chosen number 1 overall in the NBA draft. The previous high was Dominique Wilkins in 82. Interesting note, obviously Dominique's most associated with the Hawks, but he was drafted by Utah and then traded to the Hawks in 82. So Anthony's off to a great start. I know he flew up to Minneapolis on Thursday. They had a huge virtual press conference yesterday, and that young man has an amazing future ahead of him, and it's just it was a lot of fun to watch. Just some unreal performances last year, and we obviously wish him the best and think he's got an amazingly bright future ahead of him.
In your opinion, what can we expect from Georgia basketball this year? How good is the team?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I think that we're going to be a very enjoyable team to watch. I think we're going to be very offensive-minded. Last year we scored about 78, 79 points a game, and it was our highest offensive output since about 03-04. And I'll be surprised if at the end of this season we don't average a higher mark than we did last year. I think we need to get a bit better shooting the ball. Coach Crean's been very open about that, that we need to shoot a higher percentage, especially from three-point range. And it's interesting, we lost a lot of players, but in a lot of ways we got older because we have 3 graduate transfers that came in. Andrew Garcia from Stony Brook, Justin Kyer from George Mason, and P.J. Horn, originally from Tift County, Georgia, and Tifton, won a couple state titles at Tift County, who played his first 3 years at Virginia Tech, and he's back home in state in Georgia, and I know he's excited about representing the Peach State. So I think we're going to get up and down the floor. We were a fast-paced team last year. I think Coach Crean would like for us to even be faster-paced this year, and I think he'd like to introduce fatigue into the equation where we might fatigue some other teams.
Well, Coach Crean is determined to build a winner here. What's it like to work with a coach who has no enthusiasm?
That's the best question of all time. He's one of a kind. I mean, it's amazing. In all my years, coaches say that the one thing that they don't want to have to get out of their players on a daily basis is attitude and effort, that the players are responsible for the attitude and effort. And Coach Crean sets a standard with attitude and effort that is unparalleled. And so it's contagious. It's hard for it not to be. It feels like you feel like you're going 90 miles an hour, but next to him you feel like you're going 40 miles an hour. But he's an amazing individual and very driven and very dedicated to bringing winning basketball to the University of Georgia.
Well, thank you, Mike. We all agree with you on that assessment, and we go back over to Neil.
All right, thank you, Lauren. Hey, while you're here, presented by Primerica. Primerica, the only company positioned to make the maximum impact on Main Street families. Here's Lauren again.
Our Primerica Player of the Week this week, Nakobe Dean, a native of Horn Lake, Mississippi. He posted his second straight career performance in the matchup with number 8 Florida. Dean exploded for 15 stops against the Gators. He leads the team with 49 tackles. Dean anchored a defense that held the Gators to just a pair of field goals in the second half, despite Georgia being without 3 regular starters and a host of backups because of injuries. We'd like to thank Mike Burrows of Primerica for helping us honor a Bulldog player each week. We go back over to Neil Williamson.
All right, Lauren, thank you. Georgia fans, today our crew is sporting the Nike short sleeve half zip pullover from the UGA bookstore. This pullover is perfect to layer up for the cool fall temperatures like we'll have later tonight. Don't forget, today at the UGA bookstore, starting 1 minute ago, David Green and Coach Vince Dooley signing autographs. You can shop the UGA bookstore before and after every home game for the best selection of Bulldog clothing and gifts from Nike, Peter Millar, Tommy Bahama, Southern Tide, and many more. The UGA bookstore, located next to Sanford Stadium, is your one-stop shopping for everyone on your Christmas list. Open every day and online 24/7 at UGAbookstore.com. The UGA bookstore, it's where dogs shop. Well, all that separates my elbow from that of the legendary quarterback Eric Zier is about 4 inches and a big old sheet of plexiglass. We are socially distant here at the Scana stage outside the bookstore. Z rejoins us in 2 minutes. We'll talk about JT Daniels, Kenny McIntosh, and more. Plus, up next, it's the Ken Nugent Call of the Week on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
The relief on the hot water heater fails, pouring gallons of water into your finished basement. The drainage hose on your dishwasher breaks, sending an endless stream of water onto your kitchen and living room hardwood floors. No matter what happens in your home, the cleanup and restoration specialists at ServPro will be with you every step of the way until you're back on your feet. So when fire or water damage strikes, call on ServPro to make it like it never even happened. 1-800-ServPro and ServPro.com.
Glory! Glory to old Georgia! The dogs are unleashed, and so are the savings. Scana Energy is a proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs. So sing, cheer, and put on your red and black in honor of our team. Celebrate the Dogs' journey to glory this football season with Scana Energy by calling 877-GO-SCANA or visiting scanaenergy.com to save.
You're listening to Dogs Football, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
I saved big money with the Progressive Home and Auto Bundle, so I finally bought that new set of golf clubs. Watch out, Fairway. Here I come.
This is not a real testimonial. Sure, customers can save big with Progressive, but your other expenses won't just disappear. Are those clubs going to help you when the hot water heater dies? Also, it sounds like your money is better spent on golf lessons.
Time to go shoot the course record.
No, but maybe time for a reality check. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
For the last 3 years, BMW has helped provide 4.3 million meals to Feeding America. With this year's program alone, we hope to reach 2 million and further build connections with the local food banks in your community. So right now, during BMW's Drive to End Hunger test drive event, November 17th through the 21st, your test drive will help provide 200 meals to Feeding America, and you'll receive $1,000 toward a new BMW. Visit your local BMW center for details.
This moment of commitment is brought to you by Georgia Farm Bureau Insurance, always the home team. The University of Georgia is committed to serving the people and communities of this state. That's why we support small business owners, partner with farmers, turn our citizens' ideas into innovations, and educate tomorrow's leaders. It's more than our mission. It's more than our passion. It's our commitment.
Kendall Milton will start in the backfield, Z, and now they split on a shift, and Zamir's on the right side. He'll get the handoff from Bennett, and running to the left, he's got a block at the 25 to the 30. Zamir to the near sideline. Zamir's going to take it all the way on the very first play. He's gone. Touchdown, Zamir White, 75 yards.
That was today's Make the Call presented by Ken Nugent. One call, that's all. Zamir White with the first play of the game burst, which helped Zeus rack up his second straight 100-yard rushing game. Zamir rang up 107 yards on 7 carries versus Florida. Hi, it's the NAPA Tailgate Show. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Bulldogs Sports Network. This Georgia Offense Update is brought to you by UPS. Working together to achieve great things like the Bulldogs? That's problem solving. Visit UPS.com to learn more. Official logistics partner of Georgia Athletics. Eric Zier back along with your old buddy Hondo, and the Bulldogs QB1 has been the lead topic of discussion really since Jake Fromm announced last January that he was entering the NFL draft. In Georgia's last outing versus Florida, we experienced a lot of missed deep opportunities to open receivers. Coach Smart was asked this week about any improved accuracy during practice over the past 2 weeks.
Hit or miss. You know, we hit some, we miss some, but we got to hit more than we miss is all I can tell you. I don't know any we hit last game other than, you know, maybe a couple of drops. But we got to hit more than we miss. And we do that in practice. And we don't hit them all, but we hit more than we miss in practice. But the competition is probably not the same either.
Eric Zier, we'll see if our passing precision improves today with the rumored new starter JT Daniels.
Yeah, and if it is JT Daniels, he's the most credentialed quarterback that we have on this roster right now. As a freshman at USC, completed nearly 60% of his passes for just over 2,600 yards. He's got a strong arm. He throws a good ball. He's cerebral, and understands what we want to try to do offensively. Obviously, coming off of an injury, you would expect that there'd be a little bit of rust today, but no question. Hopes are high across the Bulldog Nation that JT Daniels can step in and really be the catalyst to get this offensive unit going.
Well, JT was cleared to play almost 2 months ago, and of course you and Kevin Butler and I did the talk show on Thursday night after Coach Smart and Scott, and we had callers calling up, and they can't figure out why JT hasn't come in, why hasn't he come in, but with the bad knee, I mean, you just got to figure that's got to be part of the reason, right?
I don't think there's any question, and listen, we haven't been able to go and be at practice week in and week out. We have seen him in pregame warm-ups. Early on in this season, you could tell that he was hampered by that knee. He's gotten stronger and stronger. Only the coaches really know. So you have to think right now he is fully ready to go for this Bulldog squad.
Eric, let's skip back to running back. We hope to get Kenny McIntosh back tonight.
Yeah, he is probable right now after coming out of the Alabama game. He is a critical component to this football team, was getting more and more looks. If he indeed can play today, which we expect him to be able to, will be a boost for this offensive unit.
All right, great work, Eric. As always, thank you. This is the NAPA Tailgate Show. Quality parts, helpful people. That's NAPA know-how. Scott Howard hops back behind the microphone up in the catbird seat there in the Larry Munson broadcast booth inside Sanford Stadium for tonight's call of the game at 7:35. I think I'll have to ask Scott the exact kick. And Scott joins us in 2 minutes to talk about the Pirate, Mississippi State coach Mike Leach, and his comments about his own fans last week. We are hurtling towards an SEC clash from Sanford Stadium. This is the Bulldogs Sports Network.
This is head coach Kirby Smart. It's my job to coach the fundamentals of football and prepare my guys for the future. Well, my friends at Southeast Mortgage are preparing you for your future by becoming a homeowner. Every Bulldog deserves a home. If you're in the market to purchase or refinance, I trust Southeast Mortgage to provide the best experience and get it done. Visit southeastmortgage.com/UGA to get pre-approved for your home loan today. Southeast Mortgage, the official home loan lender of the Georgia Bulldogs.
Southeast Mortgage of Georgia Incorporated, NMLS, number 103956. Georgia Residential Mortgage License number 6578. What does Julie, who runs a thriving local business, have in common with the starting quarterback? Well, they both know how to hustle. As a small business owner, you rise before the sun and push till well after it sets. Outpace and defy expectations. Every quarterback needs a great team. UPS is here to support the hustle with tools and expert advice to help you be unstoppable. Visit ups.com/pivot for details. UPS, the official logistics partner of the Georgia Bulldogs.
The Dogs are heard right here. This is the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
The SEC taught us that there's nothing like game day in Athens. And if you're all about the black and red, there's nothing like having the Georgia Bulldogs Visa check card from Regions in your wallet. As the official bank of the SEC, Regions is here to help you pull for your team with everything you've got. To order your card, visit regions.com/GoDogs. Regions, member FDIC. Terms, conditions, and fees may apply.
Cleanings, checkups, and cavities? Have Dr. Chang's dental practice at capacity.
Patient in room 1 is getting a root canal. The x-rays in room 2 are going to have to wait. We're down to 1 hygienist.
It's time to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Indeed delivers 2.5 times more hires than the other branded job sites combined, according to Breezy HR 2019. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first job post. Terms and conditions apply.
You're listening to Georgia football.
Over the shoulder catch at the 10, 5, touchdown right down the seam.
Now back to the Napa Tailgate Show.
Scott Howard is in the stadium. Eric Zier, Lauren Smith, Neil Hondo Williamson here at the Napa Tailgate Show or outside the bookstore on a fabulous homecoming Saturday for football. It's about 68 degrees right now. We're going to have 57 degrees at kickoff and 52 degrees by the end of the game. Mike Leach of Air Raid fame is in his first year coaching Mississippi State. And as we noted earlier in the program, the Maroon Bulldogs shocked the world in late September by knocking off LSU in the opener, the defending champs. Since then, the ceiling has caved in on Mississippi State's production as Costello has thrown, KJ Costello, who threw for 623 yards in that win. Costello has thrown just a single touchdown pass to 8 interceptions. Last Saturday in the Maroon Bulldogs' first victory since the opener in Baton Rouge, Leach replaced Costello with a true freshman under center. Scott, whom should we expect to see get the nod for State tonight?
Oh, my guess would be we'll see Will Rogers again. Costello was hurt in the Alabama game, and I believe that's that was the main reason why they switched gears for Vanderbilt to go to Will Rogers. Rogers played against Alabama after Costello was knocked out, and he got hit in the head. One of the Alabama linebackers kneed him in the head, and so you get those head injuries, and they take those pretty seriously. I don't know if he was in concussion protocol or what the situation was, but Will Rogers, the freshman from Brandon, Mississippi, was able to play in that ball game, and then he played against Vanderbilt 2 weeks ago. And then last week they were supposed to play Auburn, and that game got postponed. So the Vanderbilt performance was kind of so-so. He passed for over 200 yards, but State ended up winning that game. But Vanderbilt turned it over 5 times. But it was a 7-point ball game in the end, 24-17. But my guess would be Rogers tonight, just trying to read between the lines and reading what the head coach thinks and how he's talking. I don't think like he thinks, obviously, because he thinks like no other human on the planet. But I'm thinking number 2, we'll see the freshman Rogers tonight.
All right, very good. And to your point about Mike Leach, the Starkville fan base, they were titillated after his first game defeat of Louisiana State. But the rumbling has begun already and intensified as Mississippi State scored a grand total of 30 points in 4 losses between LSU and Vandy victories. Mike Leach, with his trademark unorthodox candor, had this to say of the State faithful.
Those that aren't on board or impatient, maybe they can select another team, and or maybe they can go coach their own team. And I think that and then you can evaluate how their team does and see how it all shakes out.
And that, my friend, is one of the freedoms you enjoy with a 4-year, $20 million guaranteed contract.
Yeah, he's not going to make a whole lot of friends with saying stuff like that. That's just going to raise the ire of a lot of Mississippi State fans. But, my guess is if they do start winning some games, they turn it around a little bit, all those folks will be on board. And as long as they've got their cowbells in hand in Starkville, they'll be all right.
Well, let's hope they don't start tonight. Thank you, Scott. Looking forward to playing again and hearing your call of the game tonight. It's a typical SEC bloodbath, just waiting for toe to meet leather, Georgia and Mississippi State. Let's check some scores from around the country. Third quarter score now, 8th-ranked Brigham Young leading North Alabama. It's 49-7. Number 7, Cincinnati, was down big to UCF, but has rallied back now. They have a minute left in the first half. Bearcats leading Central Florida 19-14. Undefeated Northwestern leads undefeated Wisconsin 14-7. They are at the half. Number 11 Oregon at the half with a 24-21 edge over UCLA. And Penn State 0-4, looking at 0-5, man. Halftime, Iowa leading the Nittany Lions. It's 24-7 in that. And Alabama has just scored again and now leads Kentucky with 4 minutes to play in the second period. It's 21-3, Crimson Tide on top in that one. Number 13, Georgia versus Mississippi State will kick off at 7:39, Scott tells me, on the Bulldog Sports Network.
Georgia Farm Bureau Insurance was created in 1959 to provide financial protection for farmers and rural communities. Over the years, it has grown to protect all Georgians through affordable home, auto, and life insurance, helping Georgia build a strong agriculture industry and keeping the promises we made to our members. Our agents and members stand together for the values that make Georgia special: faith, family, and community. We stand together. We stand for you.
We are a Farm Bureau.
What does Julie, who runs a thriving local business, have in common with the starting quarterback? Well, they both know how to hustle. As a small business owner, you rise before the sun and push till well after it sets. Outpace and defy expectations. Every quarterback needs a great team. UPS is here to support the hustle with tools and expert advice to help you be unstoppable. Visit ups.com/pivot for details. UPS, the official logistics partner of the Georgia Bulldogs.
Don't go anywhere. The Dogs are coming right back. You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
As soon as we brought our son home from the hospital, I wanted to put him in a protective bubble. I'm Chastity Maney from Country Financial, and like most parents, I want to make sure my son is protected throughout his life. Fortunately, I know Country Financial will also be there to help his dad and me along the way, as he gets his license and first car, and as we pack that car to leave for college.
Find a representative near you at TakeSimpleSteps.com.
There's a lot to be thankful for this holiday season, like free pickup at Kroger on all your fresh favorites. We're talking juicy turkey, grandma's famous casserole, crunchy celery, the greenest of green beans, cherry pie, pudding pie, every single kind of pie, and a swig of apple cider before you go for seconds. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Free pickup on orders of $35 or more. Restrictions may apply.
Save on a sweet treat for your Thanksgiving celebrations. Right now, Cutie's mandarins are just $2.99 in the 3-pound bag with card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Play here.
Wow! Power straight ahead. Touchdown!
You're listening to the NAPA Tailgate Show.
Welcome back to the NAPA Tailgate Show, and stay with us for a classic Larry Munson highlight in less than 10 minutes. Right now, here's our Lauren Smith. Lauren?
Well, we're happy to flash back to 1982. Georgia had a big win over Mississippi State, 29-22. Herschel Walker had a big day. Several other had a big day. John Bond was playing for Mississippi State. He was an outstanding quarterback at Valdosta, but the outstanding lineman of Cartersville in those years was a guy named Kevin Catfish Jackson. And late in the game, State was thinking upset, and they were driving, but Catfish, the record book says that you recovered a fumble, but you say it was an interception. Tell us what happened.
Well, Lauren, first of all, I think, you talk about John Bond. I think what people don't realize, what was really unique about that game is, you had Buck Ballou, who was our quarterback, and then you had John Lastinger and John Bond all went to the same school. So we knew Bond. He came to Athens with us. I'd been out with him several times. And so Bond is driving in typical Bond fashion. He's going around. It's a bootleg. And our great All-American Jimmy Payne, God rest his soul, our 5 technique, hit him, spun him around. The ball goes up in the air. And then I remember there were several of us trying to come down with it out of the air, Lauren. If you remember, I think Tommy Thurston had his hands on it, some other players, and I actually picked the ball up out of the air, came down with it, and then landed on the ball. With the ball never touched the ground. So technically, Lauren, I've always said all these years it was actually an interception.
Well, either way, Georgia won the game because of that propitious play. Came at a important time in the game down in Starkville. They were tough in Starkville in those years.
Well, first of all, it was Mississippi State's always was really tough. They had a large, offensive line. They always played hard-nosed football. You got to think, Lauren, I think we were ranked number 1 in the nation, so we were pretty much expected to win. And, I think we were jubilant in the fact that, we did win the game and the way we had to win. And I was ecstatic the fact that I had had a knee injury the year before, didn't know if I was going to play again, was able to come back and then have an opportunity to be in a position to win the game. And, that team, was very special. I mean, all those years, those championship years, to this day, we're very close. I mean, we celebrated together and, our mission was, to win a national championship that year. And I think it was just expected we were going to win. We got over there, they got some big plays and, it just worked out where, there again, it's always a team sport. Jimmy Payne hit the guy, was in the right place at the right time, and we were able to stop him. And then, of course, we went on that year, and we won out the rest of the year. And then, of course, we lost in the national championship game to Penn State. So it was a phenomenal day, Lauren.
Well, it's tough to lose that last one, but you came away. You were there for the national championship, and then you won 2 other SEC rings.
It was, actually, so 3 SEC championships, Lauren, and then we played in 3 Sugar Bowls. And then I was actually a graduate assistant when we went and beat Texas in the Cotton Bowl. I felt like that our 82 team was one of the best teams. The ball just didn't go the right way. But, what phenomenal time. And Coach Dooley, Coach Russell, all those players. And, it was just a great period in Georgia history. But, I feel more than confident that our coach right now, Kirby Smart, has got a program where it needs to be. And you look at the past years, it's been phenomenal what Kirby and his staff have done. We've been back to the national championship. We won the East. We're a perennial powerhouse again. My hat's off to Kirby and the staff and, entire Bulldog Nation. Either, you're a fan or you're not. And this is a time we all need to rally around our team and our coach and, just get through this season. So I can't thank enough, Lauren, and through the years, known you a long time. You were my father-in-law's dearest and best friend. And what another great Bulldog that we lost, last year. And it's just great to be a part of this and to have had an opportunity to, to have an interception, had a career at Georgia, and everything kind of started for me from there. So I can't thank you enough, Lauren.
Well, glad to have you. You're always a Bulldog who had the fiercest fight and loyalty. You're still a classic example of a former player supporting his alma mater after he's gone. And you cleaned up on his national championship rings just like you cleaning up the environment with your company, EnviroVac. Thanks for joining us, and we go back over to Neil Williamson.
All right, thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Kevin, for taking the time. Bulldogs fans, tune in tomorrow at midnight to WSB TV Channel 2 to catch the latest episode of Kirby Smart All Access. This week, assistant coach Todd Hartley is mic'd up, and we'll feature graduate transfer tight end Trey McKitty as well. That's Kirby Smart All Access tomorrow at 12 midnight on WSB TV Channel 2 or anytime next week at GeorgiaDogs.com. All right, it's Georgia-Mississippi State getting ready to swap paint between the hedges. Our Bulldogs have taken 11 of the last 12 meetings against their Bulldogs. And we'll hear a classic Larry Munson highlight from one of those UGA triumphs in 2 minutes. Plus, Coach Smart shares an exclusive scouting report in a little more than a half an hour right here on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
With thousands of locally owned NAPA stores across the nation, chances are that wherever you call home, we do too. And that's why you can find us in big cities, small towns, and everywhere in between, doing what we've always done to help keep our local communities moving forward. So whether you stop by a NAPA Auto Parts store, Auto Care Center, or visit us at NAPA online, you can count on NAPA know-how.
Football fans, Terrapin Beer Company, Athens' born and bred and longest-running brewery, is proud to be a part of game day and every day. Let's raise our glasses and toast our Athens team with our hometown brew. Make Terrapin a part of your game day weekend traditions. Stop by the brewery Wednesday through Sunday to sample the best beer you can drink. Please drink responsibly, and as always, 21 means 21.
You're listening to Dogs Football, sponsored by Progressive. Drivers who save with Progressive save over $750 on average.
I'm John Addison, a lifetime Bulldog fan, Georgia graduate, and the chairman of distribution for Primerica, the largest independent financial services marketing company in North America. Primerica is a Main Street company for Main Street families. We help people from all walks of life achieve their goals and dreams by offering common sense financial solutions to today's challenges. As a Georgia-based company, Primerica is proud to continue to sponsor Georgia football. Go Dogs!
What does Julie, who runs a thriving local business, have in common with the starting quarterback? Well, they both know how to hustle. As a small business owner, you rise before the sun and push till well after it sets. Outpace and defy expectations. Every quarterback needs a great team. UPS is here to support the hustle with tools and expert advice to help you be unstoppable. Visit ups.com/pivot for details. UPS, the official logistics partner of the Georgia Bulldogs.
Look at the sugar falling out of the sky. We just stepped on their face with a hobnail boot and broke their nose.
Georgia football history through the voice of a legend.
My God almighty, did you see what he did? You talk about a stupid miracle.
Here's another listen back to Larry Munson's greatest calls. Presented by Northside Hospital, Atlanta, with decades of experience performing both routine and complex surgeries. Northside Hospital leads Georgia in surgery innovation. Learn more at northside.com/surgery.
Jeff Jones putting out wide to the right side. Dogs in the 9.5. Facing that 4-3, and the corners are up reasonably close. They go to the fullback. Barry Young got hit behind the line and kept going, and touchdown Barry Young. They had him on the line, 2 men. He kept twisting his legs and turning. It was obviously stopped on the 8.5, and Barry Young with great effort took it in there. Great effort, Barry Young from Swainsboro. 20-19, boys. Second, third, and fourth effort by Barry Young.
Larry Munson with the call as Barry Young's score helped the Dogs to a 29-22 victory over Mississippi State at Scott Field. And while that sounded like it may have come from the War of the Worlds broadcast in the 1930s, no, that terrible quality was actually from 1982. One more thing, Barry Young wasn't the only Dogs running back to score that day. Some kid by the name of Walker also had a touchdown to go with his 215 rushing yards. Dogs fans, the official Georgia football game program has gone fully digital and is now free to access. Log on to georgiadogs.com/digital to get everything you need to know heading into today's matchup against Mississippi State. And while you're there, be sure to check out the game breakdown each week with Scott Howard, Eric Zier, and other Bulldog legends. That's the digital game program at georgiadogs.com/digital. Eric Zier shares his Dogs' desires for tonight's Georgia-Mississippi State battle in 2 minutes here on the NAPA Tailgate Show. This is the Bulldogs Sports Network.
In football, it's important to call the right play. In life, it can be even more important to make the right call, especially regarding termite protection. To protect my home, I call the unbeatable combination for termite protection, Cook's Pest Control and the Centricon system. Discover how affordable it is to protect your home with the Centricon system. Make the right call. Cook's Pest Control.
Looky, 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 here comes Cookie, Cook's Pest Control.
From a tiny blueberry to a towering Georgia pine, Georgia's agriculture products are as special and diverse as its people. Georgia Farm Bureau members stand for the values that bring Georgia together. We stand for strong communities and Georgia-grown products. We stand for family, faith, and keeping promises. We stand for you and your community. We stand together. Join today at gfb.org.
We are a Farm Bureau.
This is the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Sir, you're now being placed on arrest for driving under an influence.
What does that mean?
That means you've earned a night in the Gray Bar Motel. During your stay, you'll be photographed, fingerprinted, and given a stylish jumpsuit. And each room has an en-suite bathroom.
Is all this free?
Oh, no. Fines, court costs, and legal bills could add up to $10,000 or more.
Save your money for a real hotel. Drive sober or we will pull you over.
This message brought to you by the Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
Now more than ever, it's important to support our local businesses, whether it's your favorite pizza place or your neighborhood barber. That's why I'm a proud member of Georgia's Own Credit Union. Georgia's Own has been serving our local community for more than 85 years. Whether they are saving you money on a checking account or credit card, or supporting the people, places, and teams that we've grown to love, Georgia's Own can't be beat. To learn more, visit their website at georgiasown.org. I'm Chuck Dowdle, and I'm one of Georgia's Own.
It's game day for the Dogs.
Throw into the end zone. Touchdown Pickens. Touchdown Pickens. Back right corner.
Let's rejoin the Napa Auto Parts Tailgate Show.
It's the East Dogs from Georgia versus the West Dogs from Mississippi State. From our vantage point outside the UGA bookstore here with our Napa Tailgate Show, the sun has settled behind the West Campus high-rise dormitories. Creswell, Brumby, Russell Hall. It's a beautiful night. Thanks for tuning in. Eric Zier, Neil Williamson with you for this segment. And Z's Desires, brought to you by Athens Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. The fastest, easiest way to buy your next new car, truck, or SUV. Choose from the largest selection at AthensDCJR.com. Always the best deal. Always. Eric?
Well, Hondo first. We need to keep the football in front of us tonight. Over the course of this season, our Achilles heel defensively has been giving up explosive play after explosive play. We're either getting lost in coverage or losing one-on-one battles. That can't happen today. We've got to make Mississippi State drive the length of the football field. They've struggled with having to do that this year. But, boy, it has been a real challenge for this Dogs defense in the passing game, specifically in the vertical game. Need to get that fixed tonight. We've also got a tackle in the open field. Mississippi State is one of 9 Power 5 teams in the country with more than 1,000 yards after catch. If we are going to force them to throw underneath, we've got to come up and be able to tackle. On the offensive side, we've got to execute in the passing game. All the talk right now is that JT Daniels is going to come in. Let's hope that he can provide this offense with the spark. Coach Monken has been able to dial up plays where we've got guys running down the field with space, creating separation, have to execute there and create some explosive plays for ourselves. And then finally, we've got to protect the football. 8 interceptions in our last 3 games, 2 of those losses. I don't care who you play in the SEC. If you turn the football over, you're going to have a hard time winning football games.
It's going to hurt you indeed. Thank you, Eric. Great as always. Tony Schiavone is inside Sanford Stadium. You know, we're out here at the bookstore. Tony's up there lounging around. Are you working tonight, Tony?
Yeah, I'm doing a little bit.
I'm kidding. Tony, what's the latest from AEW, my friend?
We had one of our great athletes who's been in England
the entire time at home, and he got caught there because of COVID. Finally come back, and he's been wrestling him. His name is Pack, and he is a great performer, and we've had him for the last 2 weeks. He's going to wrestle again this weekend. We're really excited about that. So it's good to see Pack back. Really a top performer, and boy, is he raring to go after being cooped up for 8 months at home. The last time he had wrestled for us was like March 11th, so now he's back. So,
wow.
And then next week, and we'll have him coming up on Wednesday, then the next week, we're going to have our biggest match ever. The two top wrestlers in the world, John Moxley and Kenny Omega, will finally wrestle each other for our world title, and that'll be live on December 2nd. We're calling it Winter is Coming.
As a Game of Thrones
That
fan.
was Game of Thrones.
Yes,
of course, Game
is.
of Thrones, as you know, is a Warner HBO property, and they run TNT, so we're able to use that catchphrase. So there you go. So we're really, really excited about it, and we got some pretty good things coming up the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's great, Tone. Thanks a bunch.
All right, buddy.
All right. Coach Smart sits with Scott Howard for an exclusive scouting report of tonight's homecoming tete-a-tete between number 13 Georgia and Mississippi State. CKS, less than 20 minutes from Mark on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
Momentum in football or a small crack in your basement can snowball into major damage. Hondo here for Engineered Solutions of Georgia. See a crack in your wall? Call ESOG, proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs.
Dial 678 ESOG now.
I'm attorney Ken Nugent, and I'm here with legendary Georgia Bulldog quarterback and radio host Buck Ballou.
Ken and I are teaming up to give back to the brave men and women of our military. Ken's going to donate $500 to one member of the military every Bulldog football game this season.
If you're a member of the military in Atlanta, go to attorneykennugent.com to enter.
And somebody's going to win $500 every game.
One click.
That's it.
Ken Nugent, proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Hey, this is Trip Strickland at Georgia Metals, and we are so much more than metal roofing. We're steel buildings, metal fabrication, custom welding. We're everything metal. So for all your metal needs, call Georgia Metals, where quality steel matters.
This is your home of the Dogs. You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Make your first play of the season a smart one. Get a fast and easy sports physical right around the corner from Piedmont Quick Care at Walgreens. With 27 locations offering extended hours and most open 7 days a week, you can book online to get in, get out, and get on your way to a championship year. Visit piedmont.org/UGA to schedule a sports physical today. Patient care services provided by Piedmont Healthcare. Piedmont Quick Care at Walgreens. One stop to better.
This is Jesse's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
As a nurse, not making it to work was not an option. But driving through the snow with my wiper blades struggling, I just didn't feel safe. So I pulled into O'Reilly Auto Parts, and before I knew it, an employee was offering to install the wiper blades on my car. I got to stay out of the snow for a moment, and I still made it to work on time.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's time to unleash the dogs.
In the pocket, nowhere to go. We got a sack him. We sack him for a big loss, and the ball goes over on downs.
Welcome back to the Napa Auto Parts Tailgate Show.
Hi, everybody. Eric Zier, Neil Williamson, Scott Howard, and our Lauren Smith all with you. Ready for that battle under the lights at Sanford Stadium. And here's Lauren with a guest.
Thank you, Neil. Greg McGarrity, J.B. Parker, Director of Athletics, is with us. Greg, good news this week, and unfortunately some sad news. But the good news, you had an academic highlight this week. Bring us up to date.
Well, you know, academic measurements are really critical. So we came in with a 87% mark of our student athletes graduating. That was up from 84%. So a lot of great things going on. And, Lauren, those are things we can all take a great amount of pride in.
Well, you've always underscored academic importance and do a good job. And unfortunately, as we said, there's some sad news. We lost one of the greatest players ever at Georgia, All-American Jake Scott, who went on to great success, becoming the most valuable player in the Super Bowl with the Miami Dolphins, the undefeated Dolphins. Unfortunate to lose good friends like Jake Scott.
Well, Lauren, when I came back to Athens in 2010, one of the joys of this job is to get to be around Georgia greats. And fortunately, I was able to be around Jake when he was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame up in New York in 2011. And then he and Bill Stanfield were together in Atlanta when we kicked off Kirby's career against North Carolina in Atlanta. So, Jake was one of the all-time greats and certainly MVP of the Super Bowl and just a phenomenal player at the University of Georgia.
So many highlights. I remember sitting by Bud Wilkinson in the booth against Tennessee in 1968. Jake could see the field like a quarterback can see the field. He could see it from the defensive perspective. Somebody was out of position, ball comes over the middle, and Jake came from way over here somewhere. And went up. He looked like he jumped 20 feet in the air and stabbed the ball with his hand. Just knocking it down would have been successful, but he pulled it in. Bud Wilkinson like to jumped out of the broadcast booth. He thought it was one of the greatest plays he had ever seen as a broadcaster and a coach. So a lot of plays like that for Jake, and we certainly miss him. And also bad news in that we lost a long-time athletic board member, J. Don Edwards.
You know, Lauren, Dr. Edwards was so special to me personally and professionally. When I first got back to Athens, he took time to kind of be a mentor to me and introduce me to some pretty prominent people in Atlanta that I'd never been around before, and I'll always cherish those luncheons at East Lake Country Club. And he loved the University of Georgia, and I spoke with Dr. Edwards about a month ago, and I spoke to his son this morning, and certainly our thoughts and prayers are with the Edwards family. But what a family, what a man, and certainly one of the greatest supporters and educators the University of Georgia has ever had.
Okay, we all second that, and we thank you for taking time to be with us today. We go back over to Neil.
All right, Lauren, thank you, and thank you very much, Greg McGarity. Sophomore Seth Manus here on campus asked me to say hello to Mom and Dad in Toccoa, Lisa and LaRue Manus. Seth says, please send money. What, is that right? No, I made that up. He's looking at me like, you crazy, man. Coach Kirby Smart, less than 10 minutes with a scouting report on tonight's game. And up next, Eric Zier and Scott Howard hop back with us. We're going to make our predictions for tonight's games around the nation on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
There's a lot to be thankful for this holiday season, like free pickup at Kroger on all your fresh favorites. We're talking juicy turkey, Grandma's famous casserole, crunchy celery, the greenest of green beans, cherry pie, pudding pie, every single kind of pie, and a swig of apple cider before you go for seconds. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Free pickup on orders of $35 or more. Restrictions may apply.
Celebrate Thanksgiving with the Kroger brand frozen turkey. They're 47 cents a pound with additional $25 purchase. Limit one with card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Football fans, Terrapin Beer Company, Athens' born and bred and longest-running brewery, is proud to be a part of game day and every day. Let's raise our glasses and toast our Athens team with our hometown brew. Make Terrapin a part of your game day weekend traditions. Stop by the brewery Wednesday through Sunday to sample the best beer you can drink. Please drink responsibly, and as always, 21 means 21.
This is Georgia Football, brought to you by Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. You instantly get a list of quality candidates from Indeed's resume database the moment you sponsor a job. Get started at Indeed.com/credit.
It's not really about the tailgating or even being in the stands. It's not even really about winning or losing. It's always been about being with friends and family, making memories for tomorrow while being in the moment today. That's what Georgia football means. Are you ready? We are. Since it's different this season, and many of us can't get up to Athens, we're going to bring Athens to you. Visit harrydoghouse.com to learn how your home gating experience can become one of your best Bulldog memories.
These days I'm spending a lot more time at home, which means I need ways to easily control my comfort. And here's an insider tip. If you're a Georgia Power residential customer, you may be eligible for up to a $75 instant rebate on a smart thermostat. Here's how. Georgia Power's online marketplace features thermostats from brands like Google Nest, Honeywell, and Ecobee, as well as a variety of LEDs and smart home products like smart speakers, Wi-Fi routers, indoor cameras, and more. Just visit the site and start shopping. Shop now at GeorgiaPowerMarketplace.com.
It's game day, and the dogs are ready to eat.
And it is caught! Touchdown! Money time!
Let's rejoin the NAPA Tailgate Show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our NAPA Tailgate Show from the SCANA stage. And with the swiftness of a sharpened guillotine fulfilling its mission, our broadcast team suddenly finds itself in a three-way tie at the top of our weekly predictions race. Last time out, one member of our broadcast crew nailed all three picks to pull into a first-place bottleneck with Scott and Eric. Lauren, I hate to tell you, it wasn't you.
Well, research is getting better.
Wait, you've already proven to us tonight that you have done research. And on to tonight's predictions. Missouri at South Carolina, and we'll let Mr. Research start us out with that one. Lauren?
Well, my sentiments are with Bobo, and I'll have to go with Missouri.
No more Will Muschamp at South Carolina. I actually think that South Carolina is going to respond to this adversity under Coach Bobo. South Carolina wins.
Last one to leave the Gamecocks program. Turn out the lights, man. They are falling like flies out there. I'll go with Mizzou, Scotty.
I'm going to saddle up with Mr. Zier there. I like that pick, and I'm going to go with the Gamecocks.
Oh, all right, very good. Number 20, Southern Cal at Utah, and Scott, we'll let you go first.
Southern Cal at Utah. Let's go with the Trojans in this one, Southern Cal.
All right. Weatherman says it's going to be really chilly in Salt Lake City tonight, below freezing by the time the game ends, and I'll take the real USC in this one.
I'm going to go against y'all just to create some separation. I think the Fighting Utes are favored in this football game. I'm going to jump on that bandwagon and go with Utah.
Southern Cal.
All righty. Number 21, Liberty at NC State. Give Hugh Freeze's 8-0 Flames credit. They've won at Virginia Tech and at Syracuse in the past 5 weeks. But Bailey Hockman and the Wolfpack extinguished the Flames tonight. I'll take the Wolfpack in Raleigh. Scott?
Yeah, that's a tempting pick to take the upstart Flames. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to take Liberty.
All right, Lauren?
Well, I'm going to go with a praying crowd. I'll go with Liberty.
And Z?
I don't think there's any chance y'all win with that pick. I like North Carolina State as well.
All right, very good. Well, we have lots of diversity on our picks tonight. This is going to make for fun watching.
Fits right into 2020.
Yes, it does. It does indeed. All right, thank you, gentlemen. Nice job. Kirby's coming up in just a minute. Scott's going to scoot over to chat with Coach Smart and bring you his exclusive scouting report of tonight's SEC headbanger. It's number 13, Georgia versus Mississippi State here in Athens. CKS in 2 minutes on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
It's bow time.
Grill out of gas on game day? Drop a big bow box on it. Feed a family of 4 with 8 pieces of chicken, biscuits, fixings, and tea with the Georgia Bulldogs Big Bow Box for $19.99.
It's bow time.
Nothing kicks off your game better than a handful of Georgia peanuts. Power-packed with protein, essential nutrients, and great taste, Georgia peanuts are the MVP for affordability, sustainability, and nutrition. To score life's touchdowns with recipes and fun facts, check out GAPeanuts.com. The perfectly powerful peanut is brought to you by the family farmers of the Georgia Peanut Commission.
Peanut! Get your peanut!
The official Georgia football game program has gone fully digital and is now free to access. The paperback game program is no longer offered, so log on to georgiadogs.com/digital to get everything you need to know heading into this week's matchup against Mississippi State. georgiadogs.com/digital.
The dogs are heard right here. This is the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
NAPA know-how.
Get
Get all the quality parts you need at your locally owned NAPA. Because right now, when you order from NAPA online, you can pick up curbside at your local store in just 30 minutes. Or get your order delivered direct to your door with free one-day shipping and over 160,000 quality parts when you spend $35 or more. Quality parts delivered quickly and safely. That's NAPA Know-How.
NAPA Know-How.
At participating stores, standard ground shipping and exclusions apply.
Get ready for kickoff at the UGA Bookstore, featuring the best Bulldog gifts and apparel. Shop all the great brands at the UGA Bookstore like Nike, Tommy Bahama, Vineyard Vines, and Southern Tide. The UGA Bookstore is the exclusive home of the UGA 10 collection by Peter Millar. The UGA Bookstore in the heart of campus, next to the Tate Student Center. Shop online 24/7 at UGABookstore.com. The UGA Bookstore, it's where dogs shop.
We're counting you down to kickoff for the inside track on today's game.
28, 20, 10, 5, give him 6, touchdown!
Here's more from the crew on the NAPA Tailgate Show.
This is the Bulldogs Tailgate Show. Thanks for joining us this afternoon as we head into the evening. It'll be Georgia and Mississippi State, and right now we're going to take a look at tonight's opponent, the Mississippi State Bulldogs, with Georgia head coach Kirby Smart. And, Coach, what does Mississippi State look like as you've seen them over the last couple of weeks?
Well, they're a big physical defense. I think they do a really good job defensively in terms of confusing you. They're really aggressive. They put every guy up to the line of scrimmage at times. They give you different looks and play different coverages. I got a lot of respect for the defense coordinator and the way they do things.
They've had loss of a lot of players over this calendar year for various reasons, and most recently they've had a couple of defensive players and guys on their too-deep depth chart that have opted out. How difficult has it been to prepare for guys that you expect to play for them in your preparation?
Well, it hadn't affected because they were backups. You know, one was a really good player that we recruited last year, and he's going to be an excellent player for them, but he's just young, and he's been productive this year, but he's not a starter. So all the starters that they've played with are back.
This Mississippi State offense seems to get all the headlines. Fill us in on that and what it looks like and how you have to play against it.
Well, it's very different. You have to be patient. You know, most people look at it and think that, well, you're not getting any pass rush, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. It's ineffective because when you chart how much success they have against five-man rush, they have a lot of explosive plays. They look for the things like that. They look for man-to-man. They have a lot of answers for man-to-man. So you're forced to play out of your comfort zone sometimes, to play zone. Sometimes you drop 8, drop 7, drop 6, rush 3, rush 4, rush 5, and that's what we'll try to do tonight, is try to keep them off balance.
Have you ever played against, well, you've played Mississippi State a lot, but not necessarily under Mike Leach in your time at Alabama, but have you ever played against a team that doesn't have any dedication to the run game, or they don't have much of a running attack, as we'll see tonight? These guys are only averaging a little more than 30 yards a game.
Yeah, probably haven't played many teams in my coaching career that throw it this much. I've had some teams that just aborted the run and just said, I'm not going to try it because you're big, physical, and I'm going to throw it, more times than not. But not one coming in that just that threw it as much as they have. No.
What did you see from that first game when they beat LSU in their opener and quarterback throws for over 600 yards and to where they are now? What's happened at that position and on that side of the ball with them?
Well, people played them differently. I think LSU went about it a different way than every other team in the SEC did, and they tried to play their traditional defense and took some chances and were not very patient. And then you look at what teams have done since, and there's been a copycat system there, and a lot of teams are playing them the same way.
Does anything jump out at you about their special teams, kicking game, anything they do there?
Excellent kicker. He's got almost 100% touchbacks. Doesn't give you an opportunity to return many. Their punt coverage does a tremendous job, and their punt return unit is really talented too. So they've got good personnel on their teams. Any
other final thoughts on stuff to watch for from Mississippi State before you take the field tonight?
I don't think so. Just really well-coached football team, very sound. They play really hard on defense, and I think it should create some good matchups on both sides of the ball.
All right, there you go. It's Georgia and Mississippi State. Coach, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Go Dogs.
Coach Kirby Smart with us here on the Bulldogs Tailgate Show and our look at the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Hondo, we'll send it back to you for more of the Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
All right, thank you, Scott, and thank you to Coach Smart. Time now to check where the Dogs rank, presented by Northside Hospital. Georgia slipped to number 13 in the latest AP Top 25 poll. The Northside Hospital Cardiovascular Institute is committed to your good health and the health of your family. Their physicians treat heart disease with the latest testing and technology. At Northside, they're all about excellence at heart. To schedule an appointment, call 404-962-6000 or visit northsidecvi.com and let the healing begin. Hall of Famer Kevin Butler shares his expertise with us in less than 10 minutes. The collisions of helmets and pads commence in black tonight at 7:39, right there on Dooley Field, here on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
Hello and welcome to Keno Talk.
Hi, it's Dan. My parrot and I want to play Keno.
It's easy. You pick up the 10 numbers, then Keno picks 20.
Keno picks 20. Sheesh.
The more you match, the more you win.
The more you match, the more you win. I know already.
You can win up to $100,000 every 3.5 minutes.
$100,000 every 3.5 minutes. I heard him. Just play, you idiot. Just play, you idiot. Put it on.
Play Keno from anywhere and win up to $100,000 over 300 times a day.
Long-lasting protection against COVID-19 is crucial to a safe living and work environment. That's why Georgia Athletics has chosen Cleanwell Services as their official disinfection partner. The trained technicians at Cleanwell use a CDC and EPA-approved nanotechnology-based cleaner that sticks to surfaces for an industry-leading protection lasting beyond 30 days. The Bulldogs trust Cleanwell, and if your business wants to keep your employees and customers safe, you also need to trust Cleanwell. Visit cleanwell.services to get started today.
Don't go anywhere. The Dogs are coming right back. You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
I'm Monty Watson, UGA alum and chairman and CEO of the Piedmont Bank. As a banker, I know numbers, and the numbers that matter most to us Georgia fans are the numbers that are on the scoreboard when the clock runs out. But in business, there's no scoreboard and the clock never stops. That's why at Piedmont Bank, banking is more than the numbers. Our business customers know they're ranked number one, and that means we never stop helping them reimagine their businesses in Georgia and beyond. Get to know us today at piedmont.bank/UGA. And most importantly, go Dogs.
Glory! Glory to old Georgia! The Dogs are unleashed, and so are the savings. Scana Energy is a proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs. So sing, cheer, and put on your red and black in honor of our team. Celebrate the Dogs' journey to glory this football season with Scana Energy by calling 877-GO-SCANA or visiting scanaenergy.com to save.
You're listening to Georgia football.
Over the shoulder catch at the 10, 5, touchdown right down the seam.
Now back to the NAPA Tailgate Show.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Bulldog Sports Network. Welcome back to the NAPA Tailgate Show. Quality parts, helpful people, that's NAPA know-how. Number 13, Georgia under the stars and between the hedges tonight against Ms. State. State will be in white, and our good guys are going to don black jerseys is the word we're getting right now. Right now, here's our Lauren Smith. Lauren?
Thank you. Joining us, Trey Littlefield, who's a graduate of Mississippi State, but he's found a home in Athens, working for Claude Felton and the Bulldogs, the sports information director for women's basketball and for men's tennis. And as we get to Trey, don't want to forget that the Georgia women's volleyball team upset number 5 Florida in Gainesville Friday night in 4 sets. What a great victory for Coach Tom Black. Trey, growing up in Mississippi, going to Mississippi State, and then having seen Mississippi State upset LSU in the first game under new head coach Mike Leach, How are things in Starkville as Georgia gets ready to play Mississippi State tonight?
Well, Lauren, good to be with you. Thanks so much for having me on. Mississippi State started out hot this year, beat the defending national champions. Things were looking good. I remember calling back home and talking to friends back in Starkville, and everybody was on the Mike Leach bandwagon, and then things kind of fell off just a little bit. But I think people are still hopeful, still optimistic. But it was certainly a good start to the Mike Leach era, and I think people still have faith in him. Still early for him.
They throw the ball a lot. What is the strength of the team in your opinion?
Well, I don't really get a chance to watch them play that much. Obviously the air raid offense has come to the SEC. I think we saw maybe a version of that last year with LSU, and it seemed to work out pretty well for them. But they're going to throw the ball a lot. They have really good wide receivers, big tall receivers, and beautiful night for football tonight. So it should be a good game.
An update on women's basketball. Looks like Joni Taylor has been very busy on the recruiting trail. What's the latest with the Lady Dogs?
Yeah, well, we believe it or not, we are just a couple of days from the season. We start on the road Wednesday against Mercer down in Macon. 6 p.m. start. Actually, our first 3 games are on the road, but excited about this season. It's an experienced veteran team. In fact, all 4 seniors of this team have already earned their degrees at UGA, and all are currently pursuing their masters. So a veteran team that returns, I think, around 90% of its scoring and rebounding. Got a freshman from Alabama, Sarah Ashley Barker. She's a sharpshooter from Spain Park High School. From Brunswick, Georgia, Zoisha Smith, and then a Connecticut UConn transfer, Beaufort, Georgia native Michaela Coons, who's going to play for us this year. She's going to play a lot of minutes. So I think if you talk with Coach Taylor and her staff, she's pretty excited about this veteran team and excited to finally tip it off on Wednesday night.
All right. Thank you for that update. Trey Littlefield and his wife Sarah have become good and loyal fixtures on the Georgia athletic staff, Neil.
Very nice.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you, Trey. Thank you, Lauren. Kevin Butler is in the on-deck circle to discuss Bulldogs special teams. We'll catch up with the Hall of Famer in 2 minutes on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
I'm attorney Ken Nugent, and I'm here with legendary Georgia Bulldog quarterback and radio host Buck Ballou.
Ken and I are teaming up to give back to the brave men and women of our military. Ken's going to donate $500 to one member of the military every Bulldog football game this season.
If you're a member of the military in Atlanta, go to attorneykennugent.com to enter.
And somebody's going to win $500 every game.
One click.
That's it.
Ken Nugent, proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network. You always dreamed of owning your own farm. Now you're living your dream, and it's time to pick the tractor that makes it all come together. Massey Ferguson has reinvented what compact and utility tractors can be and redefined what they do, making them easier to operate, more comfortable to drive, more versatile than ever. Learn more at masseyferguson.us. See the newly redesigned Massey Ferguson GC 1700 and 1700M Series today.
This is the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
For the last 3 years, BMW has helped provide 4.3 million meals to Feeding America. With this year's program alone, we hope to reach 2 million and further build connections with the local food banks in your community. So right now, during BMW's Drive to End Hunger test drive event, November 17th through the 21st, your test drive will help provide 200 meals to Feeding America, and you'll receive $1,000 toward a new BMW. Visit your local BMW center for details.
In need of a new adventure? The best things happen outdoors, and it all starts with Gander RV. Did you know you can hit the road and see all of the sights America has to offer in a new 2021 RV for less than $5 a day? Plus, Gander RV has all your essential RV accessories to make sure you get the most out of your next trip. See America for less. Visit your local Gander RV off I-85 in Beaufort or online at ganderrv.com today. See dealer for full offer details. Offer expires 12/31/20.
the NAPA Tailgate Show.
This look at today's kicking game is presented by Allstate. Protecting you has no off-season. You're in good hands with Allstate. Kevin Butler alongside your old buddy Hondo on the Napa Tailgate Show. And Kevin, we've played but 2 games in 5 weeks and had 2 off weeks during that span. As Georgia has prepared to trade licks with Mississippi State tonight, how do the specialists stay focused and sharp after so much downtime?
Yeah, that's a great question, Hondo, and that's one of the challenges that these coaches have with the specialty teams. You know, you have a lot of people have been injured, so you got a lot of new players that have been practicing for this moment for 2 to 3 weeks. So, you know, you hope that they're sharp. This is a very important part of the game, and games like this, Mississippi State doesn't come in here and pose any kind of real threat to Georgia. So the biggest threat sometimes can be yourself. And let's hope that the specialty team is very sharp today and we take advantage of the situations and not give Mississippi State yet another opportunity, because if they get throwing the ball like that, 1 or 2 extra opportunities can sometimes be the difference in the game.
Oh, sure. We saw that with South Carolina last year.
Absolutely.
Hey, a lot of people, you know, they tune in and out. They're in and out of their cars on Saturday or working in the yard or doing whatever they're doing, and probably didn't hear the story earlier today when you were on with Jeff and you guys were doing Dog Talk pregame of your cutout.
Yes, well, it's J.T. Daniels' cutout, and we found him, so he's going to be starting from what we've heard. You can come get your picture taken with J.T., but this was a present to Chris Schiavone, who is celebrating his birthday today. So it says, Chris, happy birthday, our special day, J.T. Daniels. Isn't that wonderful?
It is. Did J.T. do that, or did you autograph it?
Probably not, but it's red ink, so that tends to believe that it might be a player from the team.
Okay, good. Good.
Quite sure.
You know, when I lived over here in Reed Hall my freshman year, and our high school, you know, you and I are both DeKalb County guys.
Absolutely.
Henderson was playing at Clark Central, so I had a keg party in my room before the game. Right? So about 50 friends from Henderson came over and, you know, in my dorm, packed into the dorm up and down the hallway. And I had posters of Bobby Orr and Phil Esposito and John Havlicek, my 3 favorites, and had autographed them myself earlier in the day.
Absolutely.
All my friends were like, I never knew you had these autographs.
You know, neither did I.
Yeah, neither did I.
But I tell you, one thing that gave it away here was whoever signed this knew cursive. And I don't think kids today know cursive.
Yeah, I can't write in cursive anymore. Are you kidding?
Okay. All right, well,
very good.
That's a giveaway. But happy birthday, Chris.
Happy birthday to Chris Schiavone, indeed, from our broadcast team. Thank you, Kevin. Always great to have your insights. And Hall of Fame kicker Kevin Butler. We'll come back with the legendary passer Eric Zeier in less than 10 minutes to find out if the Dogs' defense has found a way to stop those darn wheel routes. It's number 13, Georgia versus Mississippi State, coming up on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
You've got a great piece of land, ideal for hunting, but when it comes to managing that land, don't count on an ATV to do the job of a tractor. Massey Ferguson has reinvented what compact tractors can be and redefined what they do, making our tractors perfect for the cutting, hauling, digging, and plowing you need to do to create food plots and manage trails. Learn more at MasseyFerguson.us. See the newly designed Massey Ferguson GC 1700 and 1700 M Series today.
Thousands of locally owned NAPA stores across the nation, chances are that wherever you call home, we do too. And that's why you can find us in big cities, small towns, and everywhere in between, doing what we've always done to help keep our local communities moving forward. So whether you stop by a NAPA Auto Parts store, Auto Care Center, or visit us at NAPA online, you can count on NAPA know-how.
Georgia football is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people.
It's bow time.
Grill out of gas on game day? Drop a big bow box on it. Feed a family of 4 with 8 pieces of chicken, biscuits, fixings, and tea with the Georgia Bulldogs Big Bow Box for $19.99.
It's bow time.
Across the Northside Hospital system, our surgeons have decades of experience with routine and complex surgeries. Today, Northside leads the Southeast in innovative procedures. Since 2005, we've performed nearly 40,000 robotic surgeries. Our board-certified surgeons are acclaimed for non-invasive techniques. Their confidence and compassion await you at Northside. For complex surgeries, choose the best surgeons. Learn more at northside.com.
The official Georgia football game program has gone fully digital and is now free to access. The paperback game program is no longer offered. So log on to georgiadogs.com/digital to get everything you need to know heading into this week's matchup against Mississippi State. georgiadogs.com/digital. Counting you down to kickoff.
He goes down underneath. Big George Davis crush.
You're listening to the NAPA Auto Parts Tailgate Show.
Back in black tonight, or so we hear. Yeah, we're pretty sure it's going to be a blackout. Georgia and Mississippi State, we're getting amped up. They're going to start chucking that pigskin around between the hedges in just a little bit. Our producers of today's NAPA Tailgate Show are Zach Jewell and Tony Schiavone. Young Jay Black here at our broadcast outpost here at the NAPA Tailgate Show on the SCANA stage outside the bookstore. Quality parts, helpful people. That's NAPA know-how. And now here's our Lauren Smith with a guest. Lauren?
The descendants of Wallace Butts, all of whom are Bulldogs all across the board. However, after his passing on, one wing of the family wound up becoming Mississippi State Bulldogs. Frank Jones Jr., who operates the wonderful restaurant in Starkville, the Veranda, is on with us now. He's Coach Butts' grandson. Now, Frank, your dad, Frank Jones Sr., wound up as a head coach at Richmond, but before that, he spent the life of a vagabond assistant coach and spent time in Starkville, Mississippi, at a time when Mississippi State was really small, Starkville was really small, and he bought some land that people would have considered that was out, that became the prime real estate in Starkville. And you now manage all that real estate, and some members of your family, as a result of living in Starkville, have become Mississippi State Bulldogs. But you still have feelings for the Bulldogs of Athens, don't you?
Absolutely. We're really big SEC fans here. Both my sons went to Mississippi State, and they're undergraduates. But, I've always loved Georgia. I actually had a baseball scholarship to come to Georgia, but I thought I wanted to play both sports in college, so I ended up going to University of Richmond because they were going to let me play both. But I played when I was a freshman against Georgia, and they beat us 35-6, I believe. So they were a lot better.
Well, what was it like coming to Sanford Stadium, playing for the opposition, playing a Georgia team that you, or school that you had known about and had admired all your life? What was it like that day?
Consider Richmond plays in front of about 15,000 people. Even then, you just look up. I remember as a freshman walking out and just seeing how big Georgia was, first of all. And I thought, man, this could be a long day against these guys. But and I was a punt returner, so I was catching punts and stuff like that before the game and kicking a little bit. But I just remember just seeing so many fans. And, of course, I had a lot of family there, so they came down to – Allison, my cousin, as you know, big Georgia, and my sister went to Georgia, and Ben, my younger brother, went to Georgia. So Allison and crew came down and was yelling to me over the fence and over the other side of the hedges, and I went over and talked to them for a little while. You're just totally nervous. I mean, you're seeing so many thousands more people in the stands. I mean, it was pretty exciting.
Well, what about your granddad, Wallace Butts? You got to know him when you were very young. What do you remember about him? You have a favorite memory?
I got a lot of them. I remember he was just a tough guy. So he would come in, and when we were little, he would tease us, and he'd say, "You're not going to shake your granddaddy's hand." And we knew if we did, he was just going to crush our hand and get you down to your knees. So he would love to do that to you when we were younger, and or either try to choke him, grab him by the neck. He was so funny. He had a big neck. So just stuff like that. He was just a neat, fun. He played with you, had a great sense of humor. He was really, really fun for a young kid, to be around. So
well, looks like Mississippi State has they got a new coach. I guess he's into rebuilding. What's the forecast of the Starkville Bulldogs?
We got excited, of course, when we jumped on LSU in the first game and scored a ton of points. But I think what has played well is our defense has played really well. But if you're three and out, eventually the other team's going to get a hold of you and get ahead of you. So my prediction is that Georgia's just really a lot stronger. And, we have some players that have opted out now, and that's going to hurt us even more. I think it hurts a Mississippi State team a lot more when you get that than a Georgia or Alabama or somebody like that, or Florida that's got more more depth in their athletes. But I think you just got to give Coach Leach some time. I think he'll start recruiting. If you're a receiver or a quarterback, you'd want to go play for him because he throws it so much. And just give him time to get his players in there where they can compete. But right now, we might have to take our lumps, and I think Georgia's just too good, too fast, and then the key positions are just better.
Thank you for reminiscing about your days with Coach Wallace Butts. And we go back over to Neil Williamson.
All right, thank you, Lauren, and thank you to Frank Jones Jr. for that. Checking some out-of-town scores. Late third quarter, 11th-ranked Oregon hanging on against UCLA by 10. Ducks lead that one 38-28. Maybe an upset down in Orlando as Central Florida now leads Cincinnati 25-22. They have about 4 minutes to play in the third quarter there. Late third quarter, Northwestern undefeated 4-0 leads 2-0 Wisconsin 14-7. And Alabama running it up now on Kentucky. It's 35-3. Tide leads about midway through the third quarter. Tonight, Georgia gets a taste of Mike Leach's air raid attack. We'll talk UGA defense with the great Eric Zier in 2 minutes on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
I'm John Addison, a lifetime Bulldog fan, Georgia graduate, and the chairman of distribution for Primerica, the largest independent financial services marketing company in North America. Primerica is a Main Street company for Main Street families. We help people from all walks of life achieve their goals and dreams by offering common sense financial solutions to today's challenges. As a Georgia-based company, Primerica is proud to continue to sponsor Georgia football. Go Dogs!
Hey, DJ, Chocolate, you listen to podcasts?
I love podcasts.
Well, we have a podcast, and it's kind of the Bulldog podcast talk show that isn't always about the Georgia Bulldogs. Of course, we touch on it. We also have some great guests each week. Some of them went to Georgia, and some of them didn't.
We have a good time. We talk about anything and everything, and usually it goes everywhere. So, Wes, where do we go from here?
The Shock and Ship Podcast. Find new episodes weekly and other great Bulldogs content at GeorgiaDogs.com. This is your home of the Dogs. You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Neil Honda Williamson here from my friends at Engineered Solutions of Georgia. If you see a crack in your wall, call ESOG. Locally owned and operated, ESOG is a proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs.
With so many new pet owners, Kezia's Grooming can't keep up.
Kezia's Grooming? Sorry, we're booked solid through the weekend. I can give you a call back, though, if something opens up.
It's time to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Indeed delivers 2.5 times more hires than the other branded job sites combined, according to Breezy HR 2019. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first job post. Terms and conditions apply.
At Zaxby's, there's nothing better than hand-breaded chicken, unless it's hand-breaded chicken with sauce. From sweet to savory, mild to wild, even that world-famous Zax sauce. Whatever you're craving, we've got the sauce at Zaxby's.
It's game day for the Dogs.
Throw into the end zone. Touchdown Pickens. Touchdown Pickens. Back right corner.
Let's rejoin the NAPA Auto Parts Tailgate Show.
Georgia and Mississippi State getting ready to knock heads on Dooley Field in just over an hour. Thank you for listening to the NAPA Tailgate Show. Eric Zier behind the mic again to talk about the Dogs' defense. And see, a couple of weeks ago, Florida's running backs caught 10 passes, 202 yards. What went wrong? Was it just eye control, as Coach Smart terms it? And how do we fix those wheel routes?
Well, Hondo, it was eye control. It was lack of recognition. It was the inability to adjust. It was poor angles in coverage. A number of times we would take very shallow routes to try to go cover backs out of the backfield, so we were in a trail position almost immediately. About everything that could go wrong went wrong in the game against Florida in our coverage of the wheel routes, just vertical passing game. And lo and behold, Mississippi State, their leading receiver, happens to be a running back. So you know that they're going to go try to take advantage of a lot of what they saw that Florida did to give us problems. It's just a matter of getting back to basics. I think you'll see a lot more zone today against this air raid offense. Mississippi State has struggled against zone coverages this year when they've had to move the ball and stay patient. When they get in man-to-man situations, they're pretty good. I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of that, so we shouldn't see many of the mistakes that we saw against Florida because of the kind of coverages that we're going to play. And I think on top of that, this is a prideful defense with an awful lot of talent. They are going to rebound and respond, and I think that you're going to see the dominant unit for the rest of the year that we thought we'd see coming into the season.
Well, that brings up the next question, and that is, do you think that slip-up really against Florida? I mean, it's a lot. I think Florida played well. I'm not going to take it away from them, but we lost some guys. We didn't have some guys, and it's hard when you lose that many on one side of the ball.
There's no question about it. I mean, we really resembled more of a mass unit against Florida than we did a football team. Injury upon injury. We lost guys during the game. Lewis Seen, obviously getting ejected, had to go into concussion protocol. When you've got to play that many new guys against a talented football team, it makes sense that you're going to struggle some. So getting guys back and obviously responding to a little bit of adversity, expect to see a much different Georgia defense.
Excellent. Thank you, Eric. I'd like to talk to you about Mike Leach and the challenges we face with them in 10 minutes. Good.
Love to.
All right, super. See you then. It's number 13, Georgia against Mississippi State. It is homecoming here in Athens. A different kind of homecoming indeed. A real live SEC dogfight, though. It's brewing, and it's at 7:39 here on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
Northside Hospital reminds you to stay safe and stay healthy during the pandemic. It's easy to do a few simple things every day. Wash your hands frequently and disinfect hard surfaces in your home. Don't touch your eyes, nose, and mouth with unwashed hands. Always wear a mask in public and wash your hands before and after removing your mask. And if you're in a crowded place, stay at least 6 feet apart from others. For more information and CDC safety guidelines, go to northside.com/COVID-19.
The SEC taught us that anything is possible, that just when you think you've seen it all, you won't believe what happens next, that comebacks are not the makings of miracles, but are born out of preparation, perspiration, and perseverance. As the official bank of the SEC, at Regions, we take these lessons to heart and strive to bring our best every single day. What has the SEC taught you? Join the conversation with #SEC Lessons. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
The dogs are heard right here. This is the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
At Zaxby's, chicken and delicious go hand in hand. As in hand-breaded, hand-seasoned, and handmade to order. There's only one place you can get chicken like that. Zaxby's.
This is Coach Kirby Smart. More than any other game, football is a combination of power, agility, and toughness, mental and physical. The same is true with the truck I drive, Ford F-150. Whether it's attacking the workday or the weekend, F-150 makes tough jobs look easy. That's why Ford F-Series is America's best-selling truck 43 years straight. See your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of UGA football. The Georgia Bulldogs and F-150, built Ford tough.
Based on 2019 calendar year total sales.
The official Georgia football game program has gone fully digital and is now free to access. The paperback game program is no longer offered. So log on to georgiadogs.com/digital to get everything you need to know heading into this week's matchup against Mississippi State. georgiadogs.com/digital.
It's time to unleash the dogs.
In the pocket, nowhere to go. We got to sack him. We sack him for a big loss, and the ball goes over on downs.
Welcome back to the NAPA Auto Parts Tailgate Show.
Our NAPA Tailgate Show rolls into its third hour, and the voice of the dog, Scott Howard, rejoins us from his play-by-play perch inside of Sanford Stadium. Scott, in the most unusual of seasons, Time Magazine might consider the term opt-out in its annual Word of the Year competition.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, tonight's opponent, Mississippi State, has suffered 9 opt-outs in recent weeks, including 2019 first-team All-SEC running back Kylan Hill. And this past week, their starting safety, Marcus Murphy, both opting out. Meanwhile, South Carolina lost both of its starting cornerbacks this week, in addition to others. So far, for the Dogs, only Jamie We Hardly Knew Thee Newman. Where is Coach Smart's head in this whole opt-out situation?
Well, I think publicly, he comes across as saying he understands it. He supports the players on whatever their decision is. Probably privately, I wouldn't think it's very popular with many of the coaches, especially when you invest in these guys and you count on them and rely on them to do certain things, and then they go in a different direction, a la Jamie Newman, as you pointed out, which was back in September, which kind of left Georgia in a lurch with its quarterback situation. So we can kind of see the results of that particular one. But, there's no stopping the process, unfortunately. You mentioned Marcus Murphy for Mississippi State, and another player, they had a defensive lineman opt out, Nathan Pickering, too, a sophomore. And those were the two latest just this week. And Mississippi State's been hit hard by that and transfer portals and guys just leaving and the whole deal. I mean, they're down at least 18 players in this calendar year since Mike Leach was hired. So I'm sure his take on it is not real positive, nor would I guess any other coach that's been affected by the opt-out.
I was running errands this morning before heading over here and saw one of my neighbors. He's a big Georgia fan, and we were talking, and he was saying, well, maybe we should be figuring out guys who are going to play in the future and playing some of those guys and playing for next year. I said, dude, you do that and you're going to have a dozen opt-outs if you try that. Wouldn't you think that any players who are playing would just say, well, why am I going to go out and practice if you're going to play for next year?
Yeah, we have 4 games remaining on this schedule. If we play all 4 now, that's the thing. But there's 4 games left plus a postseason game. So there's plenty of season left, and that's what these guys want to do. They want to play. They want to play. Now, the ones that are opting out, maybe they have visions of grandeur, or they know something that we don't all know, and they want to save themselves. And, maybe they just don't like the coach, or they don't like where they are. But they've got options now.
Yeah. All right, very good. Thanks for your expert insights. As usual, Scott Howard, the voice of the Dogs, with us. It's Georgia and Mississippi State ready to rock between the hedges. Our Eric Zier will game plan with us in 2 minutes. And Coach Smart joins Scott with his exclusive Inside Skinny on tonight's game. That's less than 20 minutes away on the Bulldog Sports Network.
Everybody remembers the amazing light show last year when we ran the Fighting Irish out of Sanford Stadium that made Georgia the envy of college football. I'm Kenny Mullins, business manager for the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 613. Every light in Sanford Stadium was installed by an IBEW electrician. We also light up the practice facility and many other buildings on campus. Learn more about the IBEW at IBEW613.org. Go Dogs!
The clock is running down on Athens Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram's employee pricing for all sales event. Now through the end of the month only, get employee prices and Black Friday sales event doorbuster discounts on Northeast Georgia's best selection of new cars, trucks, and SUVs. Remember, no overtime on these deals, so hurry to Athens Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, 4145 Atlanta Highway, or AthensDCJR.com. On select models with approved credit plus startup cost. Not compatible with other offers.
Don't go anywhere. The Dogs are coming right back. You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Ready for an oil change? O'Reilly Auto Parts has everything you need. Our professional parts people can suggest the best products for your car and budget, like 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil, just $28.95. Plus, earn a $10 gift card after mail-in rebate and double O Rewards points. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
These days I'm spending a lot more time at home, which means I need ways to easily control my comfort. And here's an insider tip. If you're a Georgia Power residential customer, you may be eligible for up to a $75 instant rebate on a smart thermostat. Here's how. Georgia Power's online marketplace features thermostats from brands like Google Nest, Honeywell, and Ecobee, as well as a variety of LEDs and smart home products like smart speakers, Wi-Fi routers, indoor cameras, and more. Just visit the site and start shopping. Shop now at GeorgiaPowerMarketplace.com.
It's game day, and the dogs are ready to eat.
And it is caught! Touchdown! Money time!
Let's rejoin the NAPA Tailgate Show.
Time now for today's game plan, brought to you by Country Financial. Don't get overwhelmed. Get started at countryfinancial.com. Hello, Bulldog Nation. Eric Zier, Neil Williamson on your NAPA Tailgate Show, and getting set for our red and black dogs to wage war against the maroon dogs of Mississippi State. Kickoff tonight is at 7:39. State is coached by Mike Leach, one of the progenitors of the wide-open air raid offense. And that's a source of concern for Georgia coach Kirby Smart.
It's similar to an option team in that you have to defend it patiently. You have to defend it in ability to deny the ball. You got to be able to play man-to-man. They look for man-to-man. I think it's really hard to change what you do within a week to get ready for a team like this. Very similar to when we played Georgia Tech. You had to change your whole defense.
That's Coach Kirby Smart, and I think that he is being kind and giving some credit here to a Mississippi State offense that really has struggled. After the opening game where they really tore apart an LSU defense that played a ton of man-to-man against them, and they got beat time after time, SEC defenses understand how to adjust, and there's enough talent to adjust very quickly. You've seen a lot of zone. You've seen some drop 8 coverages. You've seen a few different zone looks mixed in, and Mississippi State has really, really struggled with that. So for Georgia today, where we've struggled some this year is against the vertical passing game. We've lost one-on-one situations. Obviously, the wheel route that we got burned on time after time after time against Florida a couple of weeks ago. I think you couple that with what other teams have had success against Mississippi State. I think you're going to see an awful lot of zone. Force Mississippi State to be patient, throw the football underneath, and let the dogs come up and tackle and let their athletic ability then take over. So Mississippi State can be dangerous, but they've just struggled so much. Should be a good night for the dogs' defense to get healthy.
Well, teams have tried for years to figure out the air raid, and often, as you mentioned, Z, and it was brought up to Coach Smart this week at his 2 press conferences, they will rush only 3 defenders and drop 8.
We believe in rushing 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I mean, by all means, I want Coach Leach to know we may bring 6, we may bring 7, we may bring 3. I assure you, he's fired up when you're rushing 5 or 6 guys because he's got answers for that. They got man beaters. They know what they're doing. This is not his first rodeo.
No, it's not his first rodeo. Indeed, Coach Leach can dial up plays to go beat you. Now, he's shorthanded. He doesn't have a full repertoire of players and his athletes that fit his system to attack. But Coach Leach understands how to attack every single defensive look that you could put out there. I don't think today we're going to see a whole lot of man-to-man coverage where we're trying to bring pressure. Mississippi State has just struggled too much against zone looks. I think we'll get a heavy dose of it today.
Is that why you think they've struggled this year, is because of the zone looks? I mean, it's not like Coach Leach hasn't seen zone looks before.
I think, listen, I don't think he's got his, first of all, he doesn't have his personnel at Mississippi State. They had a disrupted offseason. Anytime that you try to put in a brand-new offense, we're seeing it here between the hedges, too. Coach Bunkin bringing in a brand-new offense. When you don't have an entire offseason to go through implementation and get guys comfortable with the vernacular that you're trying to call, just with the muscle memory you build up from rep after rep. All of a sudden, you take all of that out, along with a depleted roster in terms of what Mississippi State's dealing with. All of those things add up to why they've struggled so much.
All right, thank you, Eric. And last Saturday's 24-17 win over Vanderbilt, the Commodores outgained Leach's air raid attack, 478 yards to just 204, outgaining MSU 322-42 in the second half. The Maroon Bulldogs totaled negative 22 yards rushing.
Basically watched us take turns screwing up, playing timid, and sitting on the sideline with blank, wide-eyed faces, and I'm getting sick and tired of that.
That does not sound like a happy coach. Hopefully our Bulldogs can add to Mike Leach's misery tonight. Kirby Smart joins us in less than 10 minutes for an exclusive Inside Skinny on tonight's SEC battle. Eric, Scott, and Lauren are next on the Bulldog Sports Network.
Georgia Farm Bureau Insurance was created in 1959 to provide financial protection for farmers and rural communities. Over the years, it has grown to protect all Georgians through affordable home, auto, and life insurance, helping Georgia build a strong agriculture industry and keeping the promises we made to our members. Our agents and members stand together for the values that make Georgia special: faith, family, and community. We stand together. We stand for you.
We are a Farm Bureau.
Geico presents Left Brain versus Right Brain.
You know, we should switch to Geico.
I'm picking up what you're putting down, buddy.
We could save hundreds of dollars a year on car insurance.
Ooh, with that kind of scratch, we can get the band back together for a reunion tour.
A, we were never in a band. B, Glenn let us play the tambourine on stage one time. And C, we will, however, put that savings towards a new interview suit.
Look what I found. Huh? Still got it.
Oh, no.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
You're listening to Dogs Football, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Now more than ever, it's important to support our local businesses, whether it's your favorite pizza place or your neighborhood barber. That's why I'm a proud member of Georgia's Own Credit Union. Georgia's Own has been serving our local community for more than 85 years. Whether they are saving you money on a checking account or credit card, or supporting the people, places, and teams that we've grown to love, Georgia's Own can't be beat. To learn more, visit their website at georgiasown.org. I'm Chuck Dowdle, and I'm one of Georgia's Own.
What if I could buy online at Discount Tire and get the same advice I get from the experts in the store?
You can. Our Treadwell Tire Guide finds the perfect tire for you based on your driving habits.
I want to save time and book an appointment online.
Book your appointment, get expedited check-in, and be placed at the front of the line for the next available day.
And have the choice of never leaving my car when I get to the store.
The touchless experience. So simple.
It's genius.
Find out more at discounttire.com.
We're counting you down to kickoff for the inside track on today's game.
28, 20, 10, 5, give him 6, touchdown!
Here's more from the crew on the NAPA Tailgate Show.
13th ranked Georgia on a collision course with SEC West foe Mississippi State. Back on the NAPA Tailgate Show with Scott Howard, Eric Zier, Lauren Smith, and your old buddy Hondo. A disturbing statistic I've seen twice in the past week. In the last 3 games, Bulldogs quarterbacks have completed a miserable 44% of their passes, 8 interceptions, 4 fumbles, 8 batted down passes. Scott Howard, will we see a change at quarterback tonight?
You left out the partridge in a pear tree. My goodness, those were disturbing numbers. I think we will. We haven't been told definitively yet, and we'll get a chance to ask Coach Smart before we kick off tonight as we grab him on the field before they head into the locker room for the final time. But I think we will. I think we'll see JT Daniels tonight. He was first one out of the locker room for pregame warm-ups. He comes out with Jalen Johnson, and tonight he came out with Ryland Godey, and they were loosening up and throwing around. And he's always, as I've noticed, he's always the first one out of the locker room to begin his warm-ups, to go through his routine. That's pre-pads, of course, but he prepares himself to play, and maybe tonight is the chance that he gets that he's been waiting for to fully heal and recover and be healthy 100% hopefully, and tonight he might get a shot.
Yeah, Scott, I think that's the big question. If he is healthy, he has to be the guy that gets put into this football game and give him an opportunity to lead this football team. Without question, he's the most credentialed of all quarterbacks that we have on this roster. Playing time on the big stage at USC, highly recruited coming out of high school. If he is ready, the way that we have struggled at the quarterback position, I think that you have to give JT Daniels a shot.
All right, if JT Daniels does indeed get the call under center, senior guard Ben Cleveland is confident with the choice.
It was a very smooth transition. JT has spent a lot of time working on himself. He's been running, 90% of the scout team offense. He's really been focusing on learning the playbook, getting himself healthy, and preparing himself for this moment.
He's very bright. He understands things. He's very attentive in meetings, asks a lot of really smart questions, always into the X's and O's. He's very intrigued by the other team's defense. And every week they get tests, and each week of the season he takes the test and does it as good as anybody. Not knowing if he's getting snaps or not, he's done a tremendous job of understanding the team.
There's Coach Smart, again, just talking about JT Daniels and the way that he is prepared. There's no question, coming off of the knee injury that he had while at USC, you could tell early in this season that while cleared, he wasn't fully ready to go. You could see it in his delivery, just the way that he moved around, even in pregame warm-ups. You could tell that he wasn't fully back. Expect a little bit of rust. It's been a long time since he's played in live action. I think he'll be able to knock that rust off pretty quick, but he is prepared week in and week out as if he were going to be the man. I think that's going to pay dividends today. I, for one, am excited to see him get out there and play if indeed he's ready to go. Yeah,
against Florida during the game, I remember him walking down the sideline at one point, and I elbowed you and said, "Look at that little hitch there in the knee," and you could see that little hitch as he was walking. And I don't have to tell you, with your knees and the problems you had, that if you can't go, man, you just can't go. You can't go. And it's he was early in the year. He was wearing a big brace. You could tell every time he threw the football. It's his plant leg is the one that he's had issues with. You could tell it would give a little bit on every throw. That's progressively gotten better throughout the year. You're right. Even as up to a couple of weeks ago, there was a little hitch in his giddy up. Hopefully that's gone now, and he can go out there unencumbered and go full speed. Well, we sure hope so indeed. Georgia is but a long shot in the SEC East race now. Florida won earlier today. Still, defensive back Eric Stokes and his mates have stayed unified thus far.
You got to be ready. You got to stay into the playbook. You got to do everything right and all that stuff. Cause you never know when your time will be called and all that stuff. And I just want you to be ready for it.
Lauren Smith, opt-outs abound in college football. Players' attitudes towards finishing the season and team loyalty and things like that are far different in 2020 than they were even a short decade ago. What is holding this Georgia squad together in this most difficult season?
Well, I just think there's an excellent climate. Kirby Smart's the players' coach. He's done a good job. He and his staff are keeping them unified, keeping them focusing on finishing the season and having a bowl opportunity. But, Neil, we all had to have a playoff. Nobody has thought about what the problems might come. I think this is a part of the problem. Players on good teams suddenly not having anything to look forward to. What do? They give the NFL the highest priority and opt out. And I think, too, what is so tragic about all this is we're killing the bowls. I mean, this to me is the tragic. College football owes so much to the bowls. But I can see it coming. The bowls will be so irrelevant the way we're going. Maybe there'll be some formula or something to happen to change all that. So I like the playoff, but I also hate the fallout that has come about.
Well, this seems to be a very good group of guys. The personalities seem to mesh well together with the coaching staff guys, and you don't hear of a lot of dissension in the ranks. There is that loyalty that you spoke of, Neil, and camaraderie, and it seems to be a true team atmosphere. And I think that has a lot to do with, why you haven't seen a lot of these guys say they want to move on to something different, or and I guess we're fortunate too, where maybe the personal situations of a lot of these guys haven't driven that opt out like some other teams have, and it's just a good group. They're close knit and they stick together, and I think we're going to see that through the rest of this season.
Lauren, you've been around so many of our former players and guys when they were here and stuff, and the coaches, etc. How much in this day and age does the pro coaches and scouting departments play into guys who might opt out and teams saying, well, they quit on their team there, I'm not going to draft them? Is that just me as an old schooler thinking, that's the way coaches are going to think, and they're not going to care? If you do great at the combine, we could care less if you quit.
Well, I think it depends on the player. If the player can really play.
Yeah, well, if it's Joe Burrow last year, they're not going to quit, right? They're not going to care, right?
Yeah,
but I'm talking about guys who are 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th rounders.
Well, sometimes the pros would rather the guy stay another year, if they could advise them. But it's just that everybody wants to jump as soon as they can. The kid wants to come to campus, start for 3 years, and boom, he's going to the NFL. Now, that's an ideal world for the kid with ability like a Joe Burrow.
Yeah, but I mean more of the opt-outs mid-season. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they're the ones that I think can make a decision that sometimes won't come out, won't work out so well. But like with Jamie Newman, for example, he's going to be safe and healthy at the draft, but what would a year of experience in tough SEC competition meant to him in his future? That's hard to answer.
Very good.
I think one other thing, guys, let me throw this in, is that's keeping these guys together is that we're wearing black jerseys tonight. So that was promised at the beginning of the year. We come through on the promise.
Oh, it was. Okay, very good, very good. Oh, man, we have got a whole bunch of little kids at the game tonight, and they look real happy. Look at all of these kids. Okay, we've got 5 little towheads right in front of us. None of them can be older than 6 years old, I would think. So very good. Thanks for coming by. We're out here at the stage outside the bookstore, and plenty of fans here as far as capacity goes. Unfortunately, capacity is only going to be about 20,000. Thanks so much to Scott, Lauren, and Eric for that. We're going to wear black jerseys tonight. There's a lot of excitement here in Athens, and there should be. We are playing football in the SEC, and with Thursday's themed holiday just ahead, that is a lot for us to be thankful for. Scott Howard returns with the Inside Skinny with Coach Kirby Smart, an exclusive interview for you in 2 minutes on the Bulldogs Sports Network.
Did you hear the news about David Perdue's stock trades?
Outrage now growing over reports that at least 4 U.S. senators dumped millions of dollars worth of stocks just before coronavirus sent the markets into a free fall.
David Perdue bought and sold stock shortly after a private Senate briefing on the virus.
Stock in Pfizer, a pharmaceutical company now developing a coronavirus vaccine.
He bought stock in DuPont, which makes the protective personal equipment.
David Perdue bought and dumped up to $14 million in stock, more trades than any U.S. senator. Worse, while David Perdue was lining his pockets, he told us the virus posed little risk, leaving Georgia unprepared. There's a better choice. John Ossoff leads investigations of corruption for news organizations around the world. He's refusing donations from corporate PACs. And John Ossoff will listen to doctors and scientists to defeat this virus and rebuild our economy.
I'm John Ossoff, candidate for Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by John Ossoff for Senate.
This is the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Now more than ever, it's important to support our local businesses, whether it's your favorite pizza place or your neighborhood barber. That's why I'm a proud member of Georgia's Own Credit Union. Georgia's Own has been serving our local community for more than 85 years. Whether they are saving you money on a checking account or credit card, or supporting the people, places, and teams that we've grown to love, Georgia's Own can't be beat. To learn more, visit their website at georgiasown.org. I'm Chuck Dowdle, and I'm one of Georgia's Own.
You always dreamed of owning your own farm. Now you're living your dream, and it's time to pick the tractor that makes it all come together. Massey Ferguson has reinvented what compact and utility tractors can be and redefined what they do, making them easier to operate, more comfortable to drive, more versatile than ever. Learn more at masseyferguson.us. See the newly redesigned Massey Ferguson GC 1700 and 1700 M Series today.
You're listening to Georgia football.
Over the shoulder catch at the 10, 5, touchdown right down the seam.
Now back to the Napa Tailgate Show.
Bulldogs Tailgate Show continues. Welcome back. I'm Scott Howard along with Georgia head coach Kirby Smart, and it's time for our Inside Skinny before the Dogs play Mississippi State tonight. This segment is presented by Caterpillar. Our solutions help our customers build a better world. Thanks for taking some time to chat with us before tonight's ball game. And, of course, as we've talked about, it's been a while since we've played. Can you get us up to date on how your team has looked the last couple of weeks in practice?
Yeah, the guys have been great, bouncing back and looking forward to getting out on the field and play again. I certainly thought that I really wanted to play last week to get a chance to get out there and get the bad taste out of our mouth, but they've worked really hard. They've competed. They've turned it up a notch in terms of the level of competition at practice, and I'm excited about where they are. You just want to go play again.
Right.
You want to go find out more about who you are and see guys play and compete, get some guys back. Excited to get George out there and Lewis back out there and get some guys to go make some plays.
Back home tonight as well, under the lights. So two good things going on. Your thoughts on that, on being back at Sanford Stadium?
Oh, excited for that. I love our home locker room, the field, being in our stadium, and being comfortable with our fans, and hopefully going to get some crowd noise from them tonight to help us out, and excited about that. And obviously playing at night, it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, cool night in November, as it should be. So it's some good football weather tonight. And do you find that when you've been without a game for a couple of weeks like we had, which was unexpected, might have some lag time getting started, or I know you want to come out of the gates, with both barrels blazing?
Well, yeah, you'd like to. You're at the point in the season where you've practiced so much, they get tired of hitting each other. They want to go play somebody else, and you want to start fast. You want to have a good plan and execute it, but you take whatever you get in terms of the start, and it's how you respond to it. And there'll be adversity either way for both teams. It's about how you respond to that.
Can you tell us a little bit about maybe some of the guys that have opened your eyes the last couple of weeks in practice, just from their work ethic, or guys moving up in their ability to play the game and play how you want it to?
Well, it's really the same guys. I mean, I think our younger players are getting better. I certainly think the last 2 weeks seeing guys develop. I mean, they're probably not going to play tonight, but Devin Willock's a kid that's getting better on the offensive line. It's not going to affect anything immediately, but we are getting some guys back from injury, and hopefully they're healthy enough to get out there and help us tonight.
Who were those guys tonight?
Well, George he's been back from injury, but he's getting a chance to play finally, and Kenny hopefully will be able to do some things for us. He's still banged up, and then Lewis getting back as well.
Defensive line was hit by injuries pretty hard. Can you tell us a little bit about how the younger guys that have got some snaps at Florida and then the last couple of weeks in their work, how they've looked?
They've worked really hard. It may be unique tonight because I don't know how many of them are going to be on the field at the same time. So it's one of those deals. Tonight it doesn't affect us as greatly because we may only have 1 to 2 guys.
Yeah, with this offense that you're looking at.
Yeah, so it's going to be a rotation. And it's really about keeping fresh guys out there. So this is a game that, if we had injuries early, it probably wouldn't have impacted as much.
That's a great point you make. What does your defense look like against this offense? Because you don't see this offense frequently at all.
Well, you try to change it up. You try to pitch to him. You want to rush 2 guys, 3 guys, 4 guys, 5 guys, make the quarterback confused, make him think he's coming and bringing somebody else. You want to try to do everything you can to keep the quarterback unbalanced, off balance, regardless of which quarterback it is. So, for us, it's a matter of trying to confuse them and affect them and bat balls. And, they get the ball off in 1.6 seconds on about 50% of their routes. So it doesn't matter who's up there rushing. It matters who's covering.
And they don't run the ball much at all. So that's just so non-traditional. How does that affect what you do defensively?
Well, it just makes you respond to the run. You have to react to the run, and it's almost a pass-first game, and then you react to the run, and you can't let them get successful at it because if they do that, then they can do whatever they want. So it's always important to affect the run game by how you fit the runs in terms of they've got a lot of receivers on the field, so the fits are a little different than most games.
Offensively for the Bulldogs tonight, do we see anything different?
Well, I mean, you want to create balance, and we want to be explosive. We want to be able to throw the ball when we want to throw the ball, and we want to be able to run the ball when we want to run the ball. And I would like to see, higher execution. I want to see clean snaps. I want to see explosive runs. I want to see the ball thrown down the field, and I'd love to see some wideouts create separation and hit them.
Thanks so much. Good luck to you tonight. Let's go get those other Bulldogs.
Thank you. Go Dogs.
All right, that's Coach Kirby Smart. The Bulldogs get set to host Mississippi State coming up here in just a little bit. Hondo, we'll send it back to you for more of the Bulldogs Tailgate Show.
All right, thank you, Scott. Thank you, Coach, for taking the time. It's homecoming at UGA with Mississippi State hopefully playing the role of sacrificial lamb. Georgia leads the all-time series with State 18-6. We're 11-2 in Athens, including 10 wins in a row in the Classic City. 45 minutes from kickoff. Under the lights and between the hedges, this is the Bulldogs Sports Network.
It's bow time.
Grill out of gas on game day? Drop a big bow box on it. Feed a family of 4 with 8 pieces of chicken, biscuits, fixings, and tea with the Georgia Bulldogs Big Bow Box for $19.99.
It's bow time.
The Walton Gas Champions for Charity game is on. That means every time the Dogs win a regular season game, Walton Gas will donate $1,000 to these local charities: Camp Twin Lakes, the Salvation Army, the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. And for every bowl game the Dogs win, Walton Gas will donate $5,000. Everyone wins with Walton Gas. Always low rates, always great service. Put your game face on and be a champion for charity. Vote for the charity of your choice at waltongas.com/UGA.
The official Georgia football game program has gone fully digital and is now free to access. The paperback game program is no longer offered. So log on to georgiadogs.com/digital to get everything you need to know heading into this week's matchup against Mississippi State. georgiadogs.com/digital.
This is your home of the Dogs. You're listening to the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network.
Hey Bulldog fans, Coach Smart here. My friends at Georgia United Credit Union now offer Georgia Bulldogs Visa debit cards. Now you can show your team pride everywhere you go and spend. Pick your favorite design and score yours today. Georgia United makes banking easy, friendly, and smart for busy members like myself. Attack the day with a free checking account that pays big interest. It's the smart choice. Visit at gucu.org/Go Dogs for important account information. Insured by NCUA. Georgia United, the official credit union of Georgia Athletics.
I've enjoyed my web meetings because I only have to iron my shirt from the chest up. Neil Hondo Williamson here for my friends at Breda Pest Management. Breda seals up your entire home from critters from the foundation all the way to the roof line. And only Breda disinfects all that critter waste to give you back a clean, healthy home. The official pest control of your Georgia Bulldogs, Breda Pest Management, BREDA Pest.com.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Play here.
Wow! Power straight ahead. Touchdown!
You're listening to the NAPA Tailgate Show.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Bulldog Sports Network. Well, before we slip away from the UGA bookstore and traverse the bridge, enter Sanford Stadium for tonight's Dogs versus Dogs street fight. An interesting note or two about our opponents. Georgia junior defensive back Eric Stokes is tied for the team lead in interceptions with 3, alongside senior safety Richie LeCount. Now Stokes, who hadn't registered an interception before the season, has returned 2 of his 3 picks for touchdowns in 2020. That makes Stokes the 3rd Bulldog to return 2 INTs for scores in the same season. The most recent was Darrell Gamble, who picked off 2 at LSU in 2008 and then returned them both for touchdowns. And the first one to ever do it was Jake Scott, who passed away this week. The All-Pro, the All-American, the Pro Bowler, picked off 2 passes at Kentucky in 1968, and he returned both of those for touchdowns. Well, Eric Stokes should see plenty of opportunities tonight against pass-happy Mississippi State. The Maroon Bulldogs have played 6 times in 2020. In 6 games, they have amassed 129 yards of rushing offense total. 6 games. Wow. That's it for this week's Napa Tailgate Show. Our engineer here in Athens is Tony Schiavone, assisted by the birthday boy, Chris Schiavone. Zach Jewell is our studio producer. Young Jay Black engineers here on the SCANA stage. For Scott Howard, Lauren Smith, and Eric Zier, this is Neil Hondo Williamson. The Ford Drive to kick off with Scott, Eric, and Chuck Dowdle right around the corner. Then, for the first time in 6 weeks, 13th-ranked Georgia returns to the turf on Dooley Field to take on Mississippi State. I'll talk to you again at halftime. This is the Bulldogs Sports Network.